Everybody, it's time for pre-show. Change my poster. Surprise David with my poster. Have any idea what you think my poster is?
Is it a movie out today? I mean, a movie out now?
Who says it's a movie?
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Well, gee, that could be about a billion different things then.
I know. But I was trying to get something that, I mean, I couldn't find the Minions tattooed.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't work. So I tried to, do something that would be, I don't know, somewhat kind of having Jason on,
Like Batman?
Did you already see my poster?
You're kind of holding it up right in front of the camera.
Butthead.
I'm trying to be extra family friendly tonight.
I already called you butthead.
Oh, okay.
Well. That's all I called you. I didn't call you what I wanted to call you. All right.
I don't know which one it is. All I saw was the emblem.
Well, let's take down beautiful young lady that she is. Roll it up. Dadgummit. Kelly didn't respond to me today, so I'm not sure what movie she's wanting to do. So we're not really going to be able to promote that too much. What's Jason telling you? I've already invited him and sent you a link.
I've sent him several links too, and he's not responding. So this show may be over before you get your poster up.
No, it won't. It's so hard to do this because I can't do it from the edge.
You're showing the tricks of the trade. You're giving away your secrets. How you get that up there?
Oh, I don't care. Ah, crab! There we go. Crud, I'm bending the whole thing up. Braxton, I ripped it. Ah! Should have done this earlier, but I was watching Roots. I didn't have time. I have a life. I have a family. I have responsibilities. And it's hot in this room. Like every other room in the house is freezing. And this room is hot.
It's you.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to the pre-show.
It's got to be you.
If we can get Jason on, it'd be great. Dwayne needs more duct tape. Shut up, Tolly. Ah! It keeps rolling up. All right. Are you watching the current season of Alone?
No, I haven't started the first season yet.
Oh, man, that's a good show.
I'm catching up on all my other shows. I've got 2 of them off the DVR, and I'm working on the 3rd and 4th one.
Yeah.
The Survivor thing just took up the whole season.
I haven't even started Peaky Blinders yet.
I started the first 5 minutes and stopped because I was at lunch and I didn't want to watch half the episode.
Yeah. Okay, how's that look? I am Batman. What?
Super.
Oh, I lost you. Oh, look, Denise has joined. Hi, Denise.
Hey.
Aren't you pretty? You know, you're a far disappointment when it says Denise and you show up.
What can I say? I gotta keep it classy.
Oh, man. Welcome.
Thank you. I can't see either of you guys.
Uh-oh.
Really?
You're not missing
Really?
much.
Oh, yeah.
That means you can see my poster that I bought in honor of you.
I can't. I just see your guys' cartoon faces right now.
I'm telling you right now, he's not going to like that Dog the Bounty Hunter poster. He's not going to like that.
But that's who he is.
Are you guys
No
able
kidding.
to see me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, I'm so computer illiterate.
Now you and David said y'all worked this out, so I'm trusting David. Come on, David.
Just call
You
your
said
girl,
you got
though. They'll get it fixed for you.
Bum, 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 bum. Gotta get my thing up there. Gotta get my thing up there. Yeah. Right.
So what are you seeing instead of us? Our icons, or what are you seeing?
Yeah, just see your icons.
Might be your
Well,
download speed right now.
It could be. My computer hates me.
Rachel says, "Good luck keeping the show family friendly with Jason D&D. That's not going to
Hey,
be a problem."
It's not. It's not. I'm all edited tonight.
Yeah, Jason has self-control.
That's right. Dave called me last night and gave me the rundown of my words that I'm allowed to say and not allowed to say.
Yeah, it took
That's awesome.
It took about an hour and a half to go over that list. So
It was a long list. Very long.
that's all right. Dwayne's already used 2 of them already, so we can't. Oh well.
I did not. I said butt. Called you a butt.
You said crab and butthead, so we're gonna.
Oh, Dwayne. Walking a line.
Wow. God forbid I say crab. You're going to hell for saying crab. All right. So, Dan, he talked to you about getting your overlay done. Can you
Yeah.
do that?
I'm trying right
Did
now.
you call him Dan?
Oh, okay. I did not call him Dan.
He's calling me Dan Foley. This guy.
Wow.
I did
Good-
not. I
Good
called him.
thing I'm friends with Dan. I won't hold it against you.
Man. I mean, at least Jason didn't think Ty would get any votes. But I mean, come on, don't call him Dan.
This is true.
David and I hooked you all up, I think.
What is going on here?
It might be that he used. I have read on forums that if he uses my invite versus whether he uses the link, one of them the overlays work and one of them the overlays don't.
We did. Which way were you able to get on?
He's not even here anymore.
He sure isn't. No wonder he's not speaking to us.
Yeah, he left. Let's see what's going on the chat room.
Rachel has challenged Jason to have a family-friendly podcast. She has her note in the pad and pen ready, and she will take notes.
Thank you, Rachel. Oh yeah, Rachel. Rachel, are you the same one that's on Twitter that said, "Do we have our date still tonight?" Let's see what she says. I tell you, Rachel ain't family friendly.
I'm back.
You're back. What happens when you select overlay?
I click on overlay, and then I type in the one you sent me.
It didn't teach you how to make it so it always comes.
I hit open, and it won't go over. I still can't see you guys. This is terrible. And
Polly says, "Be right back. Driving to Michigan to help Jason. Be ready in 19 hours."
Thank you, Tolly. I appreciate that.
Well, I personally can. This is David's fault because this is David's responsibility,
I
Get you
agree with you.
and he should have it set up so when you get on the next time, it automatically loads.
You know what? I'm not worried about his overlay. I'm more worried about him seeing us so he can see our faces when we respond to his comments and statements. So,
Which link did you use? Did you use the invite or did you use the link that David?
That David sent me.
All right.
It's probably
Did you
our
see
problem.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Did you see the invite?
It was long as can be.
no, not
And
the
it's-
link. The invite. He sent you, an invite should have popped up. Remember that column to the right that had where I showed you all my names and stuff? He never saw my invite last night. He only came in when I put a link in the message box.
Oh, he came in with the link? Okay, well, then it should work.
And the overlay came up and everything.
Where would the invite be?
Well, it doesn't matter. We'll just do it this way. But you can't see us?
No, not right now.
Oh, that's unfortunate for you. Because we are sights for sore eyes, let me tell you.
No, we cause sore eyes.
Patricia just said flagrand block mich. I have no idea what that means. Chance wants to see Jason's left nipple. That's awkward.
That is awkward, and I know that guy.
Oh.
I served with that guy. And
Sorry, Chance.
I actually, big shout out to Chance, because he recently went through surgery and lost his leg. And
really?
I think he is one of the strongest people I've ever met in my entire life, and he's a great guy, and I'm sending all my best to him.
All right, there you go, Chance. Thanks for serving our country, dude. All right. Well, what are we going to do here, Dave? We're going to go ahead and start. Although he can't see us, and he wants to be able to see us. I got him a poster just for that.
I guess he took that talk about me not liking doing video seriously, and just he doesn't want to do video.
Yes, we did. I tell you what. Why don't you leave the call but you know how to get into Google Plus, correct? And just
Yes.
be waiting around Google Plus. Let me send you an invite again, and you click that invite instead of this one.
Okay.
Instead of the one that David sent you, and see if that's better.
Thanks, David.
Okay?
Anytime.
All right.
I'm ready for him the next time he comes on.
Okay. You said. At gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that wasn't right. Text it to me. We know how all these people are.
Yeah. We don't want to fill up anybody's email box.
Text it to me. Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, I forgot the 1-3-8.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm sure nobody speaks Spanish. Nobody can figure that out.
I spoke in code, so no one knows what I'm saying.
That's right. Fred, Ethel, that, and the number you said right.
Yeah, Fred, Ethel, 1-3-8. ¿Cómo se llama yo mama? I used to sit in the back of Spanish class while I was taking. I was on tracks. I was like filling out all the tracks. Anyway, it was my study period, and I went, ¿Cómo se llama yo mama? And the teacher walked in, and I got in trouble.
No, you?
Yeah, I got in trouble a lot. This is exciting podcasting right here. Well, it's pre-show. Hey, this won't be on the audio podcast. Susan, they're having technical difficulties. All right. Dude, what is going on? Is he texting you? Does he see the invite? Do I need to invite him again?
I'm in the chat room. I have no idea.
Well, get to talking with Jason.
Yeah, he said he hasn't gotten anything yet.
You're sure this is the
See,
hey, tell him
he never saw that pop-up that I got.
I tell him I just posted the invite again.
Will she see it in her email or on the
It should come up on the
desktop
on their
computer. I know that's what mine does. I don't know. He never saw it.
Rachel, thank you. Fantastic rendition of The Sound of Silence. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen. All right. If he comes back on and he can't see us, we're still going to do the show.
Yep.
Regardless.
He's coming, Chance. He's coming.
Oh, did he see it now?
No, I don't know. I'll tell him just use the link again.
Yeah, just use the link. Because I'm ready to get started. We are 15 minutes late. And we have 1,365 viewers. Minus 1,342.
43. 44.
21. Yeah, we just lost some. 21 now. Yes, Jeff Probst is on season 34. Spoiler alert, sorry. Dwayne has lost more weight and looks tan. Well, tell that to my chin. I look tan, though, because I drive my convertible all the time.
I don't know how you get tan, though, when you only drive half a mile to work.
Because I drive to Huntsville and Madison to do hospital visits and stuff.
Oh.
I go see people in their time.
Gentlemen.
We're gonna go. Even if you can't see us, we're just gonna go on with the show if that's okay with you.
Okay.
Because we're 15 minutes late and we need to get started.
Yeah, I heard you say that on the when the only way I can look at you is if I have it up in another screen of watching you guys off your website.
Oh, no, you don't want to do that.
No, I'm delayed on that one.
Yeah, it's really bad. You don't want to do that.
So I'm ready.
All right. Well then, David, why don't we take off our overlays so that and just like turn off your overlay, and we have our Survivor Talk on
I got you.
mic flag, so we're good. Talk again, David. You need to turn off your overlay. There you go.
Patience.
I'll just click. See what happens. Perfect. All right. Well, let me go ahead and get started. Jason, I'm going to introduce you. What we're going to do is I'm going to play the show intro. Then I'm going to introduce you. I'm going to play your intro song that I got just for you. David approved it. I found it. David approved it. If you get mad.
If it's the Dog the Bounty Hunter, I'm logging off right now.
If you get mad, it's David's fault.
Got it.
He knows you.
It's agreeable.
Okay, good. All right. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for Survivor Talk with D&D.
I'm a survivor.
I'm Jeff Varner from Survivor's Australian Outback in Cambodia. You know, when Abby's acting up, Gandhi is storming off, or Deb is looking for rocks somewhere, you are exactly where you need to be. Oh my God, this is delicious. Who needs food when you've got Dwayne and David? This is Survivor Talk with D&D.
So if you feel me, put your hands
Welcome to Survivor Talk with D&D. I'm Dwayne.
And I'm David.
And we're just two best friends talking about the show we love, Survivor. Some will say the stars have aligned just right. Some will say it's a perfect storm. Whatever your camp, tonight we have with us a very special guest. His intro song is none other than Ruth Brown's Mama, He Treats Your Daughter Mean. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jason. Hello, Jason.
How you guys doing?
Doing great. How'd you like your intro song? Did you like that?
Appropriate. But the way Twitter treats me, it's appropriate.
Mama, he treats your daughter mean. It's actually a pretty cool song if you go listen to it. You know,
I probably won't.
I know. Well, welcome, Jason. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Well, thank
Absolutely.
you. It's I've been watching for a while. I've been in your chat multiple times without you guys knowing.
Under pseudonyms.
Yeah, exactly. I've been sneaky.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, we don't have any
bounty
violators in our chat, so you probably wasted your time if you were looking for those.
Yeah.
You don't know. Maybe
That's true.
This is true.
Yeah.
Our
So
chat
what are
just
some of
lost
the
half its people? So yeah. I'm just kidding.
what are some of the names that you've gone under on our chat room?
I've used the same person the entire time.
Oh,
And,
do you want to reveal who that is, or do you want to just keep it private?
The funny part is you have talked to her.
Nice. Her. Wow, how
It was a
ironic.
girl. Yeah.
How ironic that I talked to her.
Obviously, I
All
didn't
right.
talk to Dwayne after our discussion last night about that particular topic.
No, you didn't, and it's so great. I love it.
I'll talk to him about it later. But no, it was better this way. You're right. It was better than leaving it.
Hey, are you the one that emailed us and told us they're never going to listen to us anymore because we didn't
No.
call you out? For
No,
arbitration?
that's not me. I promise you.
We did lose a couple of viewers because we didn't, call you the most horrible person in the existence of the world.
Well, that's because I am.
Yeah, well, All right. Oh, by the way, I was watching this bounty hunter show once because I know you love bounty hunter shows. And this guy was trying to get this airplane. No, it was a repo. He was trying to get an airplane. The police guy came.
I love that show.
Oh, isn't that a good show?
It is. It is. I don't know. I mean, you're jacking airplanes. It's got to be hard. Airplane repo.
I know. I was like, that's great. Now, for those of you who are watching, Jason cannot see us, so he's purely missing out on the blessing of being able to see David and myself. But he can hear us, and so we're talking to him. And if you're watching, we can see him, so that's great. Some of you are watching live on our website at stwdd.com/live. Enjoy the chat room and have fun. Remember, we have the chat room up, but we don't always see everything, and we may not answer all your questions. But if Jason is up for it, later in the show, we will devote time for questions in the chat room. What do you say, Jason? You want to do that?
I'm all for it.
All right. Jason said he's on for 6 hours, so let's go. Just
Marty.
keep an eye out for our next movie talk with D&D. It'll be with Kelly Wentworth. It's coming probably in July, and as soon as she tells us a movie,
What are we saying? At least 45 days from now, maybe?
yeah, at least 45 days.
Just to cover all the bases.
Yeah.
And y'all
We have,
don't know when this is being recorded either. This could be during week 6 of Kaôh Rōng. So you just don't know if Jason's actually live or not. You could be faking it. So
It is. Alicia just got voted out this morning.
If you think about it, Jason, it's been a long time. It's been well over a year since you've been on the show. I mean, since you were out there.
Yeah.
It's got to be to remember all this stuff.
It's been a long, long road. It really has. We didn't even find out we were getting bumped until the day we flew home.
Wow.
So
that's pretty great.
Yeah, you think you're going to have the story all in one shot, and we find out we're getting bumped. We go home. It was a quiet ride home. We'll say that.
Yeah.
A lot of people were upset about it, and my wife knew before I did.
Well, yeah, because she was watching
She was
everything.
watching the season, and as soon as I get home, she's like, "Have you heard?" Yeah. How did you hear? Because you're not putting it all together. So it's been a long road. For a while, my wife kept messing with me, saying, "Were you even on the show?"
I don't see it. I'm watching it every week, and I see people, but not you.
So it's been fun.
That's awesome.
But it
just a
helped,
quick
I think.
Do what? Say that again?
I think it helped, though. It did get rid of a lot of the bitterness. There's still some people that are upset with others, but it did get rid of a lot of the bitterness towards a lot of different people.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. A quick shout out to our newest D&D patrons. This is the last thing before we get to talking more. Janie Davis and Jessica Campbell, thank you. You are our 2 newest members of the D&D patron family. Of course, we're humbled and thrilled that you enjoy the show, and thank you so much for your support. Jason gives us $100 a month. It's pretty awesome. Oh, wait, no, that's not you.
Oh, yeah, it was me. It was me.
It would have been if he won, but
Exactly.
spoiler alert, he did not win. So to get that out.
Yeah, that's what he told us at the beginning of the season. Guess what, guys? If I win, I'm giving you $100 a month.
Safe bet. It was a safe bet.
Pretty safe bet. Yeah. Anyway, so let's do some Survivor talk. right, man. So, Jason, day one. Well, David, do you have a day one? I mean, do you have an opening question?
I want to go pre-day one because I know that I don't know if you've done any other full on. I listened to all the fixings with Max and Corinne. I've listened to it twice. We were talking about it last night. It's a great, and if you haven't listened to it, you need to listen to it. Parental discretion is advised. It's not
Very much
friendly,
so. Very much so.
but it's great. It's great detail, and I want to cover some of that tonight. So I'm going to pretend like I haven't listened to it 1.5 times. But I want to go back to you've been a fan since season 1.
I have.
And you've watched every season. So what was the very, 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 very first inkling? Where did it pop up in your household that you needed to go audition? And you've only auditioned once, correct?
Yeah, I'm not like the Debbies out there and the Dan Foleys that have auditioned every season that they've ever had. I never, with my career field, I never thought it was something that would even fall into my realm of stuff to do and chances of having to get on. But my journey started in February 2014, so it's been a long chunk of time, and it just so I didn't even know they were coming to town. Just so happened that morning I had nothing to do. I wasn't working at all that day, which is rare. So when I'm home like that, I get on my wife's nerves constantly. And we were watching the news that morning, and it came on that they're having open casting calls and Novi at the boat show of all things. I don't boat, so there's no reason for me to even know what's going on there. And my wife kind of looked at me. She goes, "Why don't you just go try out for it? Just get out the house, leave me alone, go somewhere for the day, do that, come back." So I mean, I looked at her and I was like, "Okay, sure." And I drove out there. It's about 45 minutes away, and I walked in, and you hear the stories of these people auditioning. And they're waiting in line 5 to 10 hours just to go in, and their prepared speeches. I went on a whim. I get there. There's maybe 5 people there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I waited no time. Walked right up. Can I audition for Survivor? Yeah, sure. Come on in. And they walked me through.
A lot of people mad right now.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's driving to Detroit.
They walked me through the boat show all the way in the back corner, like this little forgotten land. There's 2 makeshift blue curtain rooms, just big enough to get maybe 2 people in there, and it's cramped. And there's this big, overweight gentleman. I mean, he was hurting. And he's in there with this. Yeah, no. And he's in there with a camera, and I walk in, he puts me on my cue. I stand there, and he goes, 60 seconds, go. What? What do you mean? 55. Oh, for real, 50. You're losing time, guy. So I had 10 seconds taken away from me. So I just kind of give a quick spiel of, this is what I do for a living. I love this show. I'm going to go out there, lie, cheat, and steal my whole way. And I walked out of there when my 50 seconds were up. And I instantly called my wife, and I was like, this is such a publicity stunt. Nobody watches this. Nobody's ever going to see these videos. No one can get on this way. And I didn't hear anything until December of 2014.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I was with my wife and both my kids, and we were taking my youngest to speech class, and we're walking in, and Penny from casting calls me, and she's like, is this Jason? No, it is. Tell me your entire life story. I want to know every deepest, darkest secret you have. Well, first off, if I have a deep, dark secret, you're not finding out, because...
Oh, no. Because what? Can you hear him, David?
No, he froze on me too.
Well, I want to know what he says.
He's probably telling us the deep, dark secret.
Yeah, he's doing it very secretively. Well, Jason has frozen on our screen. He is his hand is blurred, and he's in the middle of telling us his deepest, darkest secret. But unfortunately, he has gone away. Very
Hello.
interesting. Oh, there you are, sir.
He's back.
All right, so
Hello.
you're about to tell us your deep dark secret that you wouldn't tell her.
Okay, so yeah,
Yes.
no, I wasn't. So
Said, first of all, if I have a deep dark secret, I ain't telling you. Go.
yeah, you're the last person to find out. So we stay on the phone for about 2 hours, and I just basically gave her the whole rundown of my entire dysfunctional life. And she then tells me, finals for casting is in 2 days. Can you be here in 2 days? And I was like, well, if you're paying for the ticket, I can be. So they flew me out, and I was there for a whole week. And I got home a week before Christmas 2014. I got the call February 2015 that I made the show.
Hey, so what's involved in the week? Is it constant interviews, or is it like 30 minutes Monday, nothing on Tuesday, or what?
Every single day, there are more and more interviews. And you'll have interviews about 3-4 a day. And on top of that, you have they're watching you when you go down and eat. And then they're watching you. They make everybody have certain gym times. And they're watching you as you're working out in the gym to see how you work out. Watching you in the pool. Then you're doing medical screening, psychological tests. You're taking your IQ test, which shows how smart I am. I didn't know it was an IQ test, so I'm sure I aced it. And every time you come out your room, because you're sequestered in your room the whole time, and every time you come out, there's less and less people there. And every interview you show up to, there's more people at the interview.
Yeah.
So,
did you see anybody that week from Kaôh Rōng?
I did. Aubrey was always interviewed right after I was, so I saw her a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And Sydney was in my finals. Joe was in my finals. Jennifer was. Peter was. Liz was. And there's others that say, like Jennifer, I know she was because she said we were. I don't remember seeing her.
Yeah. Right.
You know, I wasn't as smart as these other people when it came to final. I wasn't gaming at all. I wasn't trying to remember these people.
Right. You were just too busy hiding weights, making sure people couldn't eat.
Exactly.
Yes.
Sneaking down the hotel kitchen and sabotaging the whole place.
Unplugging the microwave and the stove, and just make sure nothing worked.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you guys get me.
Well, now what is interesting is we all know that at the last minute, like someone could be on the show, and 2 days before they go out and say, "Sorry, you're not going. We're going to get somebody else," because they're constantly working on the dynamics of the group. Were you one of those? They pretty much had what they wanted, but then they decided they didn't want somebody, so they called you last minute thing, or do you think you're in the running and then some of the people you were there with got cut?
No, I think when I made it. Because they called and told me in February of 2015, like, you made the show, start sending us your wardrobe, this is what we want, these are your colors. And then we didn't leave until April, May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
So I knew for a while I was going to be on it.
Hey, so when did they change your title? Well, hey, tell her if she talks, she's got to come on screen.
They said if you talk, you have to come on screen.
Yeah, no, that ain't.
She said she's just going to stop talking because she's already got her face mask on for the night, and I don't think she's going to be
I was
online with
thinking you could get a stick and just take a picture of her and hold it up on the stick when she.
I'm really sorry because I was really excited all day.
Hey,
She
so
giving you
Tell
what
them
was I
I'm
gonna
really
ask?
sorry.
Oh, when did they change?
Tell them
Oh,
I'm sorry. I feel really bad. I was really
no, we're playing with her. We're playing with her.
They said they're playing with you.
excited. Not anything.
She says she feels bad.
No, please don't.
More for myself because I was pumped. I don't think it was shit.
Oh, she wanted to be on, but she doesn't feel good, so she can't. So she's upset that she doesn't feel good again. Right?
Oh, it's okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, so when did they change your job title? Because bounty hunter is not your job title.
No, I'm a fugitive recovery agent. And they changed my job title like interview 1. Like,
Oh,
I
really?
first walked in, and they're like, "Oh, and what do you do again?" And he's like, "I'm a fugitive recovery agent." And what's that? I'm the guy that goes out and gets you when you skip court and there's a warrant. You're a bounty hunter. You're a bounty hunter. That's what you do.
No, that's not what.
No.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're a bounty hunter.
So yeah, from the get, it was changed, which no one on the cast even knew I did that.
Oh, wow. Ever? The whole show?
What did you tell him?
2 people found out. Scott and I. It's an infamous picture now that follows me of Scott and I in the water when we're all cuddled up.
Mm-hmm.
Him carrying you like a baby, yes.
No, before that, over at Brawn Beach.
Oh, okay.
And that's when we were having a secret conversation in the water. Scott and I, we were game in certain things. We knew how to have conversations not on camera. We'd go deep. We'd just go super deep into the water. Which for me was deep. For him, he was still standing up.
You were on his toes. You were standing on your toes on his top of his shoes. Or...
I'd be like his child where, he puts a knee up, I stand on his knee.
Yeah.
Keep me out of the water, yeah.
Sydney's like, what are they doing out there? Don't ask.
So he knew secrets about me, and I knew some about him. And on Julia's last day, she came. No, the day before Julia went home, she came clean to me about being 18. So I came clean to her about what I really did for a living. And even though neither of it helped us, it helped. It did in the sense of it made us trust each other even more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's why I think she didn't try and make a play towards me at the end and just stuck with me, knowing like she's on the bottom, I'm on the bottom. Now we're confiding in each other. So, yeah.
Right. So
it still didn't work out.
So when did you get to start looking at all the other, was it 3 or 6 or 7 other 17 people before the boat, or once you get on the boat? I mean, you could see everybody before the boat, right?
Well, great question, because we're pre-gaming. We're there a week before we get on the island, and we're all at what ends up to be Ponderosa, which at the moment still I don't even know what Ponderosa is. Like, I thought I was a super fan until I met super fans, and it turns out I'm just a terrible fan of the show. But we're all at what ends up being Ponderosa, and we're there for a week from the time we get in of just doing different sound bites for press, different photos. I guess they're still getting ready, and we're not allowed to talk. And we're all sitting there in this. It's the size of it's smaller than a normal school classroom, if that helps at all. And we're all there, all 18 contestants, plus all our babysitters are there, plus the staff that works there. And some of us have to sit at the same table, but we're not even allowed to talk to each other. And like an imbecile, I still decided not to pregame at all. And I'm staring at the water. I read like my first book in history, and they're all plotting and figuring it out, and I'm doing literally nothing. Just
you probably had him scared to death. This guy won't even look at me. He's just looking away. What does he think? I'm sure we gotta get rid of this guy. He's scaring me.
The person I would wonder about and wonder if they were okay was Sydney, because she was like a statue. She would wake up in the morning, go sit down in her chair, and fold her arms and stare, and just
wow.
And for like 9 hours, and then would get up and go back to her tent.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was just like, you must be the most focused human being on the face of this earth, because I can't stay still for 3 seconds, and you just did it for like 9 hours.
Right. Okay, so there's a lot of scuttlebutt in the chat room about your shirt. Can you explain your shirt?
This one?
The shirt. Yeah, the one you're wearing. It has a helicopter, and there's a line going down, and it says
9 line.
9 line.
Yeah, this is made by a former soldier at the 101st Airborne Division, 9-line clothing. My back's even better because it has my job on it.
Nice.
Nice.
So, I support all my troops.
Cool. So I'm interested, at what point did you get your buffs and you knew what tribes you were on?
Okay, so, yeah, we go from the little pregame for a week, and then that morning you kind of know because they finally come and bring you your set of clothes that you sent to them, and you send like 9 options.
Right.
And they, for us, it was we need something that you wear at work in a sense, and they all have to be red in some way, shape, or form for the Brawn. And of course, I send 8 incredible options that I would love to wear.
Yeah.
And then I don't have enough to fill everything, so I just grab the last thing I own that's red from my closet that they'll never pick, and I'm wearing that one on the show. Thanks, wardrobe.
Yeah. Pretty much everybody thanks wardrobe. Yeah.
So I wore the flannel I've had for 15 years, and I appreciate that one. But
So you're telling me up to this point you haven't surveyed the cast and said, I hope I get with this person. I hope I'm tried with this person. Really?
I'm not smart.
Sorry, David.
Man.
Sorry, David. I know that disappoints you.
I'll catch up with you on the beach. Go ahead.
Yeah, pretty much. So that morning, you're going because they hand you this clothes. They wake you up at like 4 a.m. They hand you these clothes, and so today's the day. And they pat you down completely, make sure you're not sneaking things on, which should have checked my hair because I had about 15 hair ties in there because you were only going to let me take one, and I don't think so.
Ooh.
Gotcha!
Like to know that.
Hey, did you have gauge flint where you could have used your gauges as flint or not?
I'm sure they make it. If I would have thought ahead, it would have been fantastic. And if I ever go back, I'm going to look for it. Smart move, David.
Thank you.
So we get on the boat. Yeah. So they pat us down. You're good. They put us on this little boat, drive us out to the middle of the ocean, and then we all get on this giant boat. We're there on this big boat long enough just to get in place pretty much. You see the other boat zip off, and Jeff pops out, and it's time to go.
Nice.
Wow.
And, yeah, we didn't get the classic walk up to the mat, look at each other. Right. It was Jeff comes out. As you guys obviously know, it's Brain, Beauty, Brawn, which none of us knew. We were still all trying to figure that math out. Yeah. And from that moment, that's when I pretty much made my biggest and first alliance. I mean, because he sat there and he's like, "This is the breakdown. Your Brain, Beauty, Brawn. We are going to." At this point, when I say go, you go upstairs. You have 2 minutes to grab stuff off the boat, get it down, and then you're paddling to shore. Are you good with your placement? Scott and I looked at each other. We kind of did like that. You got me, I got you. We're good. And we were a team ever since.
That was his pregame, David. Are you okay with that?
Well, actually, that was in game because once Pro starts talking, you're in the game. But yeah, okay, I'm good.
That's right. I may have been the last one to pregame, but I was the first one to a lineup.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. Well, all right. So then you get on the boat and.
What was your target when he said go? What was your target to grab?
Well, I was the first one upstairs, very first one. So I just grabbed the closest thing to me, and I ended up, for whatever reason, the Brawn tribe, we got the most stuff. We also got the most useless stuff.
That's why you got it. Nobody else wanted it.
We probably had 600 feet of rope. I could have made a hammock for every person there. And, yeah, we had nothing. We were such imbeciles grabbing stuff from the top of this boat the most useful thing we had, I got it for us, and it was while we were bailing off the boat, it was that one last, you see an object and you reach for it and grab it on your way out. It was a spoon. If that tells you how good we were at picking things out. The most useful thing we had was a soup spoon.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not good at
So
this
what
game.
So what did you notice about what other people were getting? Were you watching that? Were you just interested in what you were going to get? And what were you thinking during all that?
Completely whatever. It was. I was paying no attention. What could we grab that was right in front of us? It was every man for themselves, pretty much. Jen got down real fast and just yelled to us like, "Throw things down to me, and I'll make sure it's on the raft." So it was just grab things, heave it over the side. Grab some more stuff, heave it over the side. Once it went off the side of the boat, it was Jen's problem.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And it wasn't great for her because she got hit with a coconut, which I found it funny. Like, once we got on the island and you look at the things you have, you're like, why were we grabbing coconut?
Yeah, really.
Like, there's a bunch back here.
There's coconuts everywhere. Hello. So I'm very interested in your first impressions, whether it's after you get on the beach or whatever. When you saw your Brawn tribe, what were your first impressions of all the people on your tribe? If you remember, it's been a year.
I remember
it's been a long time.
I remember a lot of it.
Okay.
You know, I got pretty much my first impressions because the first thing we did was we got a circle and we introduced ourselves and said what our job was.
Right. And you said you were what?
I said I still work for Blackwater.
I'm sorry.
I said I still work for Blackwater.
Okay.
And that I was just, I'm a bullet sponge. I stand by people to make sure I get shot instead of them. Like, I'm a dum-dum. It's okay to be friends with me.
You can tell by my pregame, I'm not thinking a lot. So let's just
Bingo.
for that.
Bingo. And then we would go to.
Be really mad, but don't worry about it.
We would go to Sydney, and Sydney's like, I'm a professional bodybuilder. I'm ranked 9th in the world. Okay, you're Brawn. And
Nice.
then we would go to Scott. I played in the NBA for 11 years. I have an NBA championship ring with the Celtics. Yeah, you're Brawn.
You're Brawn.
We get to Jenny, and I'm a construction worker. She left everything else out, just I'm a construction worker. Okay, you're Brawn. You're Brawn.
Mm-hmm.
We get to Darnell. I'm a postal worker.
You could go, bro. I mean, could go.
You might be awesome at walking or something. I'll allow it. You're Brawn. You're a big guy.
No.
And then,
he was not Brawn.
And then we get to Alicia, and she's like, I'm a real estate agent, but I'm very offended I wasn't put on beauty. Okay, first off, you don't make friends. Second, you're a what? That's not Brawn.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, can you bring that boat back, please?
Yeah.
we mix some of the people up. Can you bring that back? Just switch them.
Make a trade, please?
Well, really, I mean, honestly, Darnell and Alicia were kind of a stretch for the Brawn tribe. I mean, honestly.
It was a big stretch.
Yeah. But how funny is it?
It
that,
didn't
that,
work out well for them either.
how offended she was that she was.
I know. Like, out of all things to say, that's your lead. Like, hi, how you doing?
Yeah.
I'm Alicia. I'm very offended right now.
I so wish.
Did I say something already?
So I'm afraid to ask this question, but did you and Scott early on nod and say first boot, pointing at anybody? Did you look at anybody, or were you thinking at that time about that?
I brought it up to Scott.
Mm-hmm.
And because I went around as we were building, Jen instantly, I'm a construction worker. I'm going to build us a shelter. Deal. What do you need done?
Nope.
I'll just be your grunt and go get it.
There you go.
You're spotlighting the hell out of yourself. So I'm getting her stuff, and then she kind of looks at me and hey, we should, yeah, definitely. I make an alliance with her. I make one with Scott. I make one with Sydney. I make one with Darnell. I start talking to a couple people, like, hey, Worst comes to worst. What are you thinking? Just by looks. Every single person there said, Alicia, the blonde girl. You got it. You got it. It's not me. You can have anything you want right now.
Right.
It was, as the days were going, that's when I started putting some things together. And everybody, for the most part, was still focused at one point of, we got to get rid of Alicia. She's our downfall. She doesn't fit in. She's making camp life difficult. And you're going with that. But I'm growing this pretty big relationship with Sydney. And I'm watching Darnell come in and starting to build a really close relationship with her as well. I see Jen and Scott kind of hook up. Scott and I are already hooked up. Sydney and I are close. Alicia's out in the wind, but Darnell's getting close to Sydney. I know I need her. And we're getting very close. And he is threatening me on the fact of, you're moving in on my girl.
Right, right.
So I changed all my focus from Alicia to, I need to get rid of him because he's going to be more of a threat to me. I'm taking numbers away from me.
Right, right.
So that's why, and when it came down to voting him out, he lost the goggles, and thank you. Because all that did was give me a reason to throw a spotlight on you, as frivolous as the reason was. And I can't believe it worked. And I was able to spin all you into getting rid of this guy and keeping her because he lost a pair of goggles. But I was able to spotlight that and get rid of him and use that as the reason instead of me trying to, he's moving in on my lady.
Yeah.
So Alicia was always going to be first boot until I broke that up. That's a really long way to answer your question.
No, that was a great answer because that spotlights more on why Darnell was the first pick, and it wasn't anything personal, it wasn't anything physical, it was strategic. Completely.
Yeah, he was going to take, if I let him stay, he takes Sydney away from me.
2 more days and he's that much closer to Sydney.
Exactly, and he is a very easy person to get along with.
Mm-hmm.
He can just comfort you and make you feel like a friend and suck you in. It's threatening, and you can't let that stay in my book because he's going to take everyone away from you, and everyone's going to look at him and go, he's the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah, that's kind of, I call that the Dan Foley effect. But anyway, just for a second, you mentioned Alicia was annoying around camp. Other than the perfect first impression, what did she do around camp that was like annoying, that just kept her on the chopping block?
Well, it would be easier to say what all the things she didn't do, because she didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that got under a lot of people's skin. But she was the type of person that argued with you about everything. And you wake up and you go, wow, that is a lovely blue sky this morning. She's the person that looks and goes, it's a teal sky this morning.
Oh.
Did you just start a fight with me literally over nothing? Because we think it's a different color? And she would constantly fight you about that. And she was the person that you could never give advice to. She already knew everything. She knew all the answers. And her way was correct. Yours was wrong. And we really did try to work with her. The girls would give her long talks of like, this is how you're coming off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you realize it, but this is how we are all taking it. And she would instantly fight back, no, it's not. Well, I'm telling you, this is how you're coming off to me. And she would correct you and be like, no, it's not.
So as a fan, when you were watching, like with Denise or whomever, with group you were watching with, as you watch week after week, we only saw that argumentative side after the medevac episode, when y'all came back and you guys just crashed in the shelter. Even Sydney said, I just want to sleep. I just want to come back here and lay down, and she won't stop talking. And she even pointed out it was her.
Wrecking my girl's recuperation time. She's trying to recuperate.
How did you feel watching week after week not seeing that? Because we never saw that until that episode.
I was okay with it because I stepped back before the show started, and I said, they're going to tell a story. And what was lucky to me is I had quite a high number of former contestants reach out to me before the show and be like, all right, regardless of how far you make it, what your story tells of you, get ready for this, and this. Like, no matter if you are the nicest guy in the world or the meanest guy in the world, say hello to the hate train. It's coming your way. There's nothing you can do about it. Stay off of these sites. Don't get offended by the edit that's coming. Just enjoy what you're able to see and try and look at it in a way that you didn't. So that really helped ahead of time of being able to deal with it. For me.
Nobody told me shit.
No one told my wife anything. She hated it.
She did not embrace the suck that you did. She did not.
It took her a lot more episodes to embrace the suck.
Gotcha.
So
I can embrace the suck, but not when my kids get dragged into shit.
Things.
Like that, I don't know.
Words.
Things.
yes, remember why
People are going to call somebody else a bully and then bash them and say all these terrible, awful, mean things, and in the same sentence end it with, he's a bully. That makes no sense. You're a hypocrite.
Yeah, she doesn't like the hypocrite Twitters. Hypocritical Twitter world.
There's no
when Jason becomes our censor, that's pretty awesome.
They want not to answer.
I told you, I'm edited tonight.
You're awesome.
Yes.
Well, I know after I did all the fixins, David, as soon as it comes out, David writes me, and I know he's not 10 minutes into all the fixins, and he's like, can we even do a show with you? I promise I can.
We've been talking all season. I'm like, dude, I can't wait to talk to you about that. I can't wait to talk about that. And Jason will say, yep, you're going to love talking about it. I can't wait to talk about it either. And then I hear Max and Corinne, and I'm like, oh, my gosh. This is going to be like a 5-minute show because I don't know if we can stay in it.
Dwayne's sweating over the bleep out button. Just, I can't handle it.
Dwayne goes, you want to talk to who?
Hey, if Dan Foley can make it clean on the show, anybody can make it clean on the show. So there you go. So Tolly on the chat room says Denise didn't get the pre-show list of banned words. LOL. All right, so I don't know this story, and this was a question sent in by Will the Giant Ninja. And since we're talking about Alicia, I thought I'd go ahead and ask it. He says, would you like to box Alicia's dad in an elevator? And then he wrote, just kidding, but tell the story. So what's the story? Or should we talk about it?
We can. I'm fine with it. When we were at the reunion, at one point, myself, my wife, Max, and Corinne, we're outside. We're getting ready to get a cab, and we're going to go to one of the parties. I forget something upstairs in my hotel room, on my phone charger, something dumb. So I was like, hey, I'll be right back. And I go running through the lobby right into the elevator. At this same time, Julia is talking with Alicia, and her family's right there. Julia sees me run by, and I guess Alicia stops the conversation, turns to her dad, and goes, right there, Dad, and then gets this look on her face, Julia's telling me, and her dad takes off. So back to where I'm at. I run into the elevator. This guy runs into the elevator with me. So, okay, I don't know who you are. I hit my floor. I'm on the 8th floor. I hit the number 8. The guy turns to me and goes, so, I'm Alicia's dad. How you doing, sir? Nice to meet you. And I stick my hand out to shake his hand. And he's like, you were talking crap about Tommy Morrison or whoever it was. And I was like, I don't know who that is, so no. Which, for the record, I totally know who this is. But you're not getting the satisfaction of the doubt. But I really wasn't talking crap about him. And he's like, you sure about that? Yeah, I'm sure. Why? And he's like, well, I'm a boxing promoter. Okay. And he's like, I'm 53 years old and never boxed a day in my life. I'll pay you $5,000 to get a ring and fight me. First off, my main thought process is, why is this elevator taking so long to get up 8 floors?
That's right.
But it does, and right when he says that, the doors open. And I just patted him on the shoulder and I was like, no thanks, I'm an adult. And I walked out. But what a thing to do!
I know. Wow.
Did you know it was Alicia's dad?
Not until he said so.
Okay.
You know, before that, I had no idea. I wasn't looking for her at the reunion to hang out. So,
Right.
I know it's hard to believe. We're not Facebook friends.
No.
Oh, no.
I know. It's weird. I keep waiting for my request. It just doesn't come.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, David. Ask him something else.
Well, that was one good story that I wanted to talk about. So,
We could.
well, I was going to say, after Darnell, then went Jennifer. Now, how did you feel losing 2 weeks in a row, losing 2 challenges in a row? Were y'all about to lose your Brawn cards or something, or what was coming? What were y'all thinking then?
It sucked. Like, it sucks. I'm not good at losing. I'm not a good winner either. I'd rub it in your face. But that's neither here nor there. It was bad losing it, but in a sense, I was okay because I had already watched how close Jen and Scott got, and I already have Sydney on my side now, so it's almost one of those things of like, I can work with this. We're going to be okay. I'm about to make my team right here and sink it in. So that's when I went to work. And Jen was already getting real close with Scott. And I knew there was talk that she was trying to make a play. She didn't like how close Scott and I were because she wanted to feel like she was in control. And she wasn't. And I was in control of the Brawn tribe through and through.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I had numbers when I needed it and I was able to get out who I wanted and dictate it, so it kind of just fell my way. And I'll take it. But it wouldn't have been as easy if I didn't have Sydney. So it was the right move. It just proved to me it was the right move 3 days ago of what I did, because Sydney would instantly run to me and be like, Jen's trying to make a play. Jen just said all this. She's trying to get Alicia on her side. So then it's like, okay, thank you, girl. Now I need this favor from you. I need you to make sure Alicia's with us. I'm going to go work on Scott and see what I can come up with. I'll report back to you. You report back to me. And it's not that I don't want to give out the wrong impression. Like I couldn't have done it without Sydney. She was never standing behind me or taking orders. It was very much a team effort of her and I. Yeah. I was just able to bring in the Scott side that she couldn't, because her and Scott weren't close.
Right.
I was okay with losing. It's awkward silence that just happened.
Oh, David?
Okay. Sorry, I thought we were stuck.
Oh, no. David's leading the conversation, so I was kind of seeing what was going on.
No, actually, I was checking my timeline to see where we were, because y'all didn't lose the third week, right? I think y'all won you came in second or something the third week.
Correct. And that's when I got my teddy bear, and that's when Liz went home. Right. Which we didn't see coming, which it makes me laugh, because they always come, we show up at a challenge, a reward challenge, right after someone's getting voted out. And it always makes me laugh watching it. And then you're playing, and you do it, and then you watch, and you're like, I'm that guy, where you act so surprised who goes out on the other tribe, when you have no idea what's happening over there.
Yeah.
You know, why are you surprised? Which I did it, and I'm that guy, so that sucks, but what can you do?
Well, you were just starting to play the game since you hadn't started yet, so that was
exactly. About day 12, I started pre-gaming.
All right, so after Liz goes, we get to the big episode that starts to set the tone for this season of how bad it was. Before y'all even went to the big challenge, which was, in the probably the hottest day of the whole season, what was it like out there condition-wise? I mean, obviously it was a topic, but was your tribe one of those people that said, hey, we don't talk about steak, we don't talk about pizza, we don't talk about our family, we just chill and try to find food and just go from there?
No, there was pretty much no topics that at that point that we wouldn't talk about, because it was a 3-person alliance and a 4-person tribe. So it was pretty much anything you want to talk about. It was clear who was on the outs. Within that time, we had some big things happen where the idol hunt happened, so that was talked about for a day and a half. And, you know, time took care of itself. Leading into that challenge was a lot of talk of, we knew a swap was coming at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we started getting into the, okay, she's got to go bye-bye.
Yeah. Now, please tell me you did at least look for an idol or a clue to one on day one.
Oh, yeah. I was searching the beach non-stop.
We're back on the same page again. Okay. If you went 3 or 4 days to, you know what, I'm not going to worry about looking for anything yet.
I had certain goals. I had 5 major goals, and I did well on achieving them. It was don't be first boot, find an idol, win reward, win immunity, and win reward, win immunity, and make the merch. I got all 5. I just didn't get the true reason of why I was out there, which was win $1 million.
Right.
But you know, I mean, I realize I'm skipping way ahead. But watching your Rosa video, it also feels like you got more out of the show than you even expected to get out of the show.
I didn't expect to get anything out of the show except for a big old check. Yeah, you know, because I look at it and I go, I can live in any situation. So it's not a challenge in that aspect to me.
Mm-hmm.
I can live with meeting new people, forming relationships with them, and being stuck with people that I just would never talk to in my everyday life and can pretend like they don't exist. It's welcome to the military because you're getting the city guy and the kid who grew up in the mountains. That part was easy to me. So I didn't really expect to feel any which way about it. I never thought I was going to open up about my wife and kids. I don't do it.
Right.
I do it more so now, seeing that I'm still involved with the show, and it happened, and people already know, and it's kind of hard to close Pandora's box on that one.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just own it to an extent, but I guess if it wasn't for the show, I wouldn't have done it to begin with.
Right.
So you had an idol by the time y'all went to the to the Caleb challenge, right, where he got evacuated? Didn't you have the idol before then? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when I started getting points.
Great idol hunt, by the way. I mean, do you want to tell us some behind-the-scenes stuff on that we may not have seen on the show, because that was pretty awesome.
It was quick.
Yeah, it happened really fast. Scott and I were actually hunting for an idol that day, earlier that morning, and we were all.
I think they were all over that beach. You know, but he's frozen, so we can only assume.
Maybe he's mimicking what it felt like out there. Maybe it was colder than we imagined.
Yes.
So,
and they were searching, and it was so cold that they just froze. And while they were frozen, Sydney and Alicia went and found the idol. That's what happened, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I think you're on the right track there.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey.
There you go. Sorry.
Oh,
he's back.
Nice to have you. We were just speculating. So
you and Scott were out hunting, yeah.
Yeah, we were out hunting all over the beach, just like Dwayne said, looking for that idol.
Right.
And then at that point, did my camera just stop working?
No, you're there.
I can see you, and we hear you.
We're good. So, then I get called out to a confessional. I had a long confessional that day. One of the longest ones I ever had. I come back from it, and there is nobody at the shelter. Not a single person.
Uh-oh.
I instantly know, like, oh, something's going down at this point. So I start sneaking through the woods. I'm not taking the trail. I'm sneaking through, playing my little spy games. And then that's when you see me on air. I'm staring at the girls as they're digging this thing up.
So you just came back from confessional, and you just decided to go do a little sneak, and you walked up on the girls.
Well, I went looking for everybody because I knew they had to be doing something. For everyone, I mean, Brawn Beach was small. for the most part, you can see everything but for the well and tree mail. But, like, everyone is pretty much right at beachside in the water or right here on the shelter from where I was coming from. If they're not there, they're idle hunting, and it's not good to be the wheel that's out.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when I start sneaking around. Okay, if they're doing something, I want to be able to know what they're doing and maybe not have them know I know.
Right. Little spy shack action.
Got it. Took it right out of the Tony book. So I start going through there, and that's when you see me standing by the tree all hunkered down like, okay, now I know exactly what you girls are doing because Scott's not with them. Scott was over on the other side of the beach doing his own idle hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Which it wasn't over there because I already searched that area by myself. Sorry, buddy. And that's when I make myself known. The girls turn and they see me.
The girls turn and they see him and they think, "What a man!" Right, David? That's
right.
what they thought.
They think this guy's going to win, and there's no way we can let him see what we're doing here.
Exactly, and he's such a specimen that they stop what they're doing.
So the girls see you, and what do they think?
Whoa, David, I like the way Dwayne was describing this way better.
Okay.
I think it happened exactly the way you said it.
Almost
so I was doing, for those of you that think he could hear all that, I guess maybe he could, but he was frozen on our end, and we couldn't hear anything. So the last thing we heard was they looked over and saw you.
Yes, they looked over, they see me. I know what you're doing. You know I know what you're doing. So I don't even need to waste my time and hang out anymore. I just put Sydney in a bad position.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which was smart on my end because she did what I was hoping she would do. She came right to me and filled me in because they couldn't get this box open.
Well, that was a smart move on her part, too, because she knew she'd been caught. And why work with somebody that's on the outs when you got your alliance back there knowing you were just sitting next to a box with either a clue or an idol in it?
Exactly.
So, definitely the smart move on her side.
I'm filling Scott in on what happened. Sydney comes over. She breaks it all down. This is what happened. Perfect. Where is it?
Yeah.
She describes the tree stump that it's in. Alicia's out in the water. I instantly think in my head, you just stood in front of an idol. You couldn't get it open, and you went for a swim? I'm going to get it! And I just jumped up like, let's go, Scott! You're coming with me! And I took off for it, and that's when you see what happened. I was the first. I found the clue that they left there, or Sydney left there. From
Why did she leave the clue
seeing there? It. You tell me, but I appreciate her doing it.
Yeah, hey. Yeah.
You know, I'm very thankful for that.
You should have told her dad, before we part, would you tell her thank you for leaving the clue? Thanks.
So, I get it. I open it up. I instantly can read this map that was written in crayon for a 3-year-old. Like, the map was the most easy possible thing you can come up with of like, oh, follow this path to the tree it runs into. Got it.
Right.
You know, it was pretty simple. I run, I get there, and you see this tube way up in the tree. So instantly in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm climbing it. I get maybe 2 feet up there and don't realize this tree is covered in ants.
Oh.
So I turn into this 12-year-old girl in middle school, freaking out that my leg's covered in ants. And stunned they didn't show it because it was not my manliest moment in life.
Well, why couldn't you show that?
Thankfully, my buddy Scott was there to get the ants off my leg. But I stayed with the tree. Scott, I had him go back to shelter. Get the bamboo, get a stick, get 6 miles of that rope we have, and let's get this thing down. And we tied up this thing. I never left. Alicia stood there, and I could tell what she was doing. She was, in a sense, being smart of the fact of, okay, I got one play at this. Wait for you two to knock it down and hope I can take it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what I would have
Smart
done.
move for her. It's a very smart move. Let us do all the work, get it down, and maybe you can get it. It didn't work out that way. It fell, and we both went straight for it. And I mean, she handled it like a champ when she got run over. We knew how that was going to end. You know, two people running it at the same brick wall at the same time. We have an idea of which one's going to be able to take that hit, which one's not.
Yeah.
But I mean, I give her all the credit in the world because she popped up. She congratulated me. I had said thank you. Like, we were cordial at that point. We both knew what the other person was doing. And it wasn't a thing when it happened. For whatever reason, it became a thing as the show aired.
Right.
You know, I don't know that it really did it? I mean, it's not like you elbowed her in the face or anything. You just both went for it.
It was like a body slam on Twitter. I mean, he pretty much picked her up and threw her out in the ocean, dragged her back in, and dropped her across a rock by the time it was over with. So,
Yeah.
too much WWE going on there. But I like the explanation of the outcome because, like you said, she wasn't stupid in that part. She was waiting, hoping that it popped up and popped in her lap and gladly take it. And like you said, when one person runs into another one who's a third of the size, you know, it's not going to turn out in the favor all the time. So,
and it really could have. It really could, because like when I'm looking up and I'm watching Scott get this stick through it, and he had to give it force to pop it up, so it shot up in the air. In a sense, it was in our favor of luck which way this thing happened to fall out.
Yeah.
If it happened to fall over the side of me, it's hers.
Right.
And you know the camera guy is sitting there saying, I got a real estate agent who weighs 98 pounds, and I got a bounty hunter who's going to be fighting for this. Make sure all the cameras are rolling when this thing drops. We got to catch this on TV.
I'm pretty sure they brought in like 4 boats full of cameramen.
Here comes the helicopter on the other side. Can y'all drop it again? We need another flyby. You know.
Now, what Alicia should have done is taken her cue from all those soccer players who, when you barely touch them, they fall like they're dead and they cry and ask for their mommies, you know, to try to get the foul, you know, to try to get the penalty. She should have, like, over head first, landed on her butt, broke her tailbone. then it would have been some good stuff, right?
Then it would have been really good TV. She would have had to take a page out of the LeBron book.
Yeah, well, there you go. Or any soccer player that plays soccer. So, David, so you're a soccer coach. Do you teach your players how to fake injuries? Oh, sorry, that's another podcast.
That's the last segment of every practice. So.
Oh, yeah. Remember, if they brush by you, fall over, twist, and land on your ankle, and grab that.
I coach girls. They don't have to fake screaming or anything. They do it just
okay. So, lo and behold, you have the idol, which means you and Scott have the idol, right?
And that's the funny thing. Like, some people were stunned that I so easily handed it over to Scott. I mean, I did it with a plan, but when Scott and I found it, I told Scott sitting at the shelter, like, this is our idol. Now, I'm gonna hold on to it. It's gonna be safe with me. I'm gonna carry it just in case we get separated. But if we need it, I will use it for you. And I said that from the moment we got it, and I stayed true to it. But
okay.
I also said to Sydney, I would use it with you too.
Huh. But Jason, this is a game. This is a game. I mean, are you telling me that you would have let your relationships keep you from winning the game? Like you would have said, well, I promised you, Scott, so here's your idol, even though it means I'm going to lose. You would have done that?
I did do that, in a sense.
You're such a softie. Everybody has a wrong idea of you. You're like Mr. Softie.
The thing is, like, the idol's a great tool in this game. But at the same time, as much as it's a single-player game, after the merge. You have to trust somebody.
Right. You want to trust somebody.
But you have to.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't. No one has won this game all by themselves.
Right.
Right. You have to trust somebody, right?
So if I can make you 100% trust me, I have to reciprocate that in a sense in order to help my game.
Unless you're Boston Rob, who completely backstabs everybody and still wins the game.
That's because he had enough times where they finally were just like, okay, I'm here to come in second place so that this guy can win and get him off our TV.
There you go.
Yeah, really.
Hey, so a few days later, when you did the swap and Scott was the only Brawn in the other tribe, did you consider at all slipping the auto in his pocket? Just in case he got in trouble?
Like I said,
that's the game.
I'm gonna hold on to this in my pocket for right now, just in case.
So as he's walking away, hey, call me if you need me. But otherwise,
exactly. And every time we would get to one of the challenges after the swaps, we would look at each other, and I would kind of give him that look of like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And he would either give me the head nod or the thumbs up, so I knew, okay, you guys are good over there. And then he would do the same thing to me of, are you in a safe place? Because the bet was always, if we have to separate, we do whatever we have to do at that time to make it so we can come back to each other.
Right.
Right.
Which completely explains the celebration. Yeah, it completely explains the celebration at the merge as to why you are so happy to see each other again.
We were happy to see each other, but him carrying me was more so just a diva moment.
Yeah. Cameras, Mr. Cameraman.
No, it was even worse than that. My shoes, for like the first time in the game, and I just wanted to hold on to that dry feet thing for a little longer, and I was like, Scott, my feet are dry, will you carry me? He was like, come here, big buddy. So I'm sure there was a better way he could have carried me, but we just felt that was the most appropriate way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just snuggle me like I'm your baby and make sure I don't get wet.
Yeah.
So right before...
Well, yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Dwayne.
No, please. Go
I
for
was going to say, right before the merge, we get... Was that the worst day of the season for most everybody with the medevac challenge? When Caleb got taken out?
I mean, that was before the swap.
Right before the swap, yeah.
It was difficult. For me, I don't think it was... I don't look at it that way, because that day was different to me. That day, a big section of that, just I wasn't playing the game anymore at all, in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
When I watched Sydney go down, I said, forget this game, forget the money, and I just went straight into basically my profession and my time in the military, and it was all about her. It wasn't about playing anymore, and I didn't care the outcome. I didn't care if it hurt me because I did that. It was take care of Sydney. She was my legitimate friend.
Yeah.
So it wasn't about keeping the alliance together. It was my friends in need. But I would have done that for any single person. It could have been Alicia that dropped right there in front of me, and I honest to God, would have helped her.
Did I read or hear that you thought Sydney was actually in more danger than Caleb?
I honestly did. She was in convulsions. It's not that CBS didn't want to perform a tour. It was so much went on so fast, you weren't able to see every single person dropping.
Mm-hmm.
And they dropped so quick in a lapse of time between each other that you didn't know where to be. And they're rushing people in, and I think their only problem was they didn't have enough people that were maybe medically trained to handle a situation like that, because the docs are instantly, Caleb drops, and they were on him quicker than you could ever imagine. And they're putting IVs in him and taking care of him, and they haven't realized yet that I'm carrying Sydney over because she's just as bad, if not worse. What made them, to me, in my training, what made them focus on Caleb a little more was Caleb passed out.
Yeah.
Sydney was having convulsions, but her eyes were open in a sense.
Right.
And I think what prevented her from passing out was I kept talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
I kept making her respond to me. I was able to elevate her legs quick enough, start working on her body temperature, and I was making her focus on talking to me and answering back to me, no matter what the question was, even if it wasn't related to her injury at the time. It was, I just need to make sure that you stay awake for me, because that's the biggest thing that'll keep you in this game. And I think she was very much on the verge of getting pulled.
Mm-hmm.
What helped her was she was able, with me helping her stay awake for so long, she was able to get her composure back quicker.
Right.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was missed because I think about after a long day, a long Saturday of nothing but yard work, I come in at 5 o'clock and I sit on the sofa and I can feel my body just deflate from stopping the movement. And I imagine what Caleb went through was like 1,000 times worse, where he finally stopped and just went. And I think that you're right. The fact that Sydney, and I don't think she gets credit, and like you just pointed out, she fought to stay awake. With your help, she fought not to let her body take over and let her heart and her mind keep her in the game and keep her mentally awake. Because you're right, you could tell she was. That made me think why they weren't on top of her as much as him, because his body just took him out, whereas she was fighting to stay cognizant, to stay conscious, and stay in the game. And that's where you were helping her sitting on top, constantly talking to her.
And I kept talking to her too about very personal things in her life that I knew she could focus her mind on, because she would tell me things about her mom and her family that she didn't share with other people, and it showed that we were legitimately friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to keep talking to her about things that I knew I could pinpoint her mind on.
Right.
And I think that really helped her. I mean, opening up to me ended up helping her stay in the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Tolly. Go ahead.
Tolly looked it up, and around you, it was 114 degrees. But that doesn't even take into consideration the fact that y'all are on sand, which is going to reflect the sun back up, make it even hotter. And you were out. And how long did this challenge take? Were you out there more than an hour, 2 hours?
We were digging for just over an hour. Digging. Just digging.
Yeah. Or like after a while, you're just kind of yeah.
Yeah. It was. You hit that wall 30 minutes before we ever found a bag of just, I'm over it. I don't want these spices. We're doing this for salt, yet we are living at the ocean with salt water. If I just boil the water, I have salt.
That's exactly what David and I said on that podcast, that whenever we recapped that episode, this was not worth, the reward was not worth the effort that they were putting y'all through.
No.
It was ridiculous.
This was an immunity challenge. This should have been an immunity challenge, not a spices challenge. I mean, not a Survivor Kitchen challenge. I guess that's what they're calling it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I'm thankful it wasn't, because we were nervous. When Caleb dropped, Scott and I had the same conversation with Scott, and I had it with Sydney of, we just lost one. Number-wise, are we still getting rid of somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which then moves into the funny aspect of, I convinced our group to throw the challenge for the immunity challenge. We threw it to get rid of Alicia.
Now, which challenge was that? Do you remember?
The snake puzzle.
Okay, the one that Neil had done, but Peter got all the credit for when he jumped up there and put in the last piece. I think that's what Neil said.
Correct. And Sydney deserves an Oscar, because we moved it to, we're going to try really hard so it doesn't look like we're throwing it, but we're not going to outright we're going to leave things up to Alicia.
Yeah.
You're going to put this puzzle together. If you can't, you go home. If you do put it together, you get to stay.
And she knew that.
No.
Oh.
And Sydney's up there, and Alicia's just having Sydney do it all. And Sydney is putting things in the right place, and then she's looking at it, and she can tell it's correct. And then she's like, nope, that doesn't go there. Just takes it out, throws it behind her, and Scott and I are dying because no one realizes we're putting things in the right place, and she's just taking them back out like, you're going to do this, and you just saw where it goes. Pick it back up and put it there, and you're good.
So Alicia's thinking, gosh, this is the hardest puzzle I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's like they work, just don't work.
Like, and we're doing this thing, and it's like Scott and I are watching Sydney do this. The Beauty Tribe cannot get theirs together. We're ahead of Brawn, and we're like, how? We can't keep this up. They need to speed up on finishing this puzzle.
Well, at the last Durham Warriors Survival Challenge, there was an obvious throwing of a challenge. Like, I think it was Dr. Jill was left with this. I mean, all of us in the audience knew it, right? It was like, get the ball or do something. But
it was a paddle. It was a paddle with the ball on top, and they had to go under and over ropes. Go ahead.
Yeah, she literally just stood there after a while and just kind of let the ball fall everyone for like 45 minutes before the other team finally won. And what's fun is the other team really thought they had won. They really thought they did.
They were waiting for the second place team because one team had already won. It was they had to come in third just so they could vote out Matt.
It's so fun.
But applause, man. Way to go. Way to go. I don't mind throwing a challenge to get somebody off. I really do not have a problem with that.
Now,
what's funny, too, is, like, we're the last one. So, when you lose and you're standing at the mats and just like, okay, congratulations, you won, get out of here. Congratulations, you won, get out of here. All right, Brawn, you guys still continue to suck at this game, and you guys are going back to Tribal. Good thing we have not removed your stumps since you've been there. And I turned to Jeff at that point. I'm like, we don't want to go. Can we just do this right now?
Yeah.
And Jeff bit, and we were excited that he bit on it. And he's like, if you guys want Tribal right now, you can. Sydney, how do you feel about that? And she looks at Jeff, and she's, let's do it right now. I'm okay with it. And then Scott, yep, let's do it. And he knows who we're voting out. And he looks at Alicia and goes, Alicia, if you agree to this, we can do Tribal right now. And she stops and has like this 5-minute pause, and everyone in production is staring at her like, are you really going to agree to this? Like, you are taking a lot of time. You know it's you. And it took her a long time, and then finally she just looks and she's like,
He froze again right at the moment where we get to decide what she said. So, David,
it's like
what do you think? Yeah. So,
Um,
what do you think she said?
I think I. Oh, did he come back?
I hear every word you guys are saying.
Okay.
Oh, all we heard was
Do you
production.
think she said?
I think she said, I've probably still got a chance to get on the Beauty Tribe, so I'm going to stick around for Tribal Council and see what happens and make this game right. Let's get it back to on the right track. My question is, as you laugh at that, my question is, did you throw it because you were ready for her to go, or because you did not want her having any power at the swap or any kind of merge coming up?
We knew if we went into... What?
They didn't let you tell us what she said.
Oh, she instantly, like, after 5 minutes of pondering the question, she decided to go with the fact of, I think I still have a little fight left in me, and let's go back to camp, and we'll go to Tribal Night. So we went back to camp, and we all went to sleep.
I was going to say, you all took a nap. Hey, the three of us are taking a nap, so you go fight with the fish all you want and see what happens.
Yeah, pretty much. And we just all went to sleep and cuddled up back into Scott and let it happen. But the main purpose was we had to get rid of her solely for the fact of we knew on a swap she was gone.
Yeah.
She's not us.
Right.
There's
right.
no way she's staying with us. So you went from you're the easy person for us to get rid of at any time we want to if we keep you here any longer, that thought process is going to bite us because you're never going to stay loyal.
Right.
You're not going to come back to us and go, okay, I'll work with you guys.
Right. Right.
All right.
She's
So,
the first train hop.
so as we say goodbye to Alicia, before we do, there's just one thing the world wants to know. Did she really get that fire restarted, or did you come in and actually get it started for her?
I came in and got it started for her.
Okay. So her edit was very generous in the idea of making her look like the one that got the fire started.
Yes, very much so. And, I gave her credit to an extent because of how long she tried on it.
Mm-hmm.
I always knew how to make fire. I just never helped make fire.
Yeah. Well,
Why?
that was kind of you.
I didn't need it.
You should have at least showed Sydney.
wanted- My poor Sydney, she never wanted to make fire.
Wow.
And when it came down to the fire challenge, I looked at Scott and they're like, okay, Aubrey, Sydney, you're going to make fire. I looked at Scott and I was like, oh, she's out. And he looked at me and goes, oh, yeah, she doesn't know how to do that.
All right, so are we officially leaving Alicia?
Yes, I'm done with her.
Okay.
You take shots out of me. Mama, you take shots out of me. Mama, you take shots out of me.
There you go.
All right, so now
In
we're
honor-
officially done
That's
with
a
that.
good theme song.
It really is. It really is. So,
If I ever become a professional wrestler, I think this is what I have to walk to the ring to.
that's right. Well, there's a promoter who will help you out.
There is! Man, if only he knew how I could get into boxing.
Gosh.
If only there was somebody
So-
wanting to fight you.
So you're saying because usually usually Jeff gets an idea or starts to figure out that a challenge is being thrown. Like he overheard Mike Holloway saying to Karen, or I think it was Carolyn. I don't remember who it was. We're trying to help you out, and he didn't give it away. You don't think that Jeff figured out y'all were throwing it and just played along?
I don't think he did at all. I think we duped everybody.
Well, then I think
Everybody. I think Sydney deserves an Oscar.
And you know what's crazy? They didn't even show that. Well, did they get any film of y'all talking about throwing the challenge, or did y'all do that way out in the deep?
We were very secretive about it. Very secretive. And there's times where if you really want to get slick with talking, the night's the time to do it because it's such a skeleton crew there at night that occasionally right after a challenge or something that happens on beach, they'll take someone for a really quick confessional about, 40, 50 feet away, ask them a quick 2 questions or something, and that's the time where everyone kind of leans in like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Yep, okay, we're good, yep, perfect. And the conversation happened, and it's done.
But isn't there a producer there telling y'all not to talk because there's not a camera?
He's out with the confessional.
Oh, they just weren't being very on top of things.
At night, it's rough. And a lot of conversations, well, not a lot, but if you really want a secret conversation, you do it at 2, 3 in the morning, like we know what time it is. It's probably 8 for all we know, whenever the sun disappears.
Yeah.
If it, we don't even know. We think we're waking up at a decent hour, and I'm sure it's 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Well, that depends on whether or not you had marked the chicken
So-
on the alarm clock. So.
Yeah, that is
very
very
true.
very interesting. Because usually whenever we talk to players, they tell us that when there's not a cameraman around, that there's a producer there telling them you can't talk, there's not a cameraman around. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
Good
at
stuff.
night, though, it's very, very minimal. And then if you go really deep out in the ocean where they can't get the boom mics and things like that, you got a little time before they jump on their fast boat out there.
Yeah, and tell you to get your butt back.
Right. I mean, I had probably a 2-3 hour conversation with Neil out in the middle of the ocean, and the cameras just couldn't get to us. We took our raft out and just drifted to the point where we're like, the sun's going down. I don't know if we can get back in time.
All right. So, David, where are we next?
We get to the swap. Yeah, just got rid of Alicia. They get to the swap, and Jason disappears for a while because Scott's tribe loses. So we get to see Scott and Ty form the high-low romance, and let's see, Anna goes, and then Peter goes, talks himself out of going, and then we get to the merge. And was there anything with your new tribe that clicked, that formed together? Were you were with Sydney, and who else were you with? You were with Neil, Nick, Debbie,
and Michelle.
Did anything come from that group that was going to provide dividends later?
That's kind of when we got lucky. Sydney and I got lucky. We were getting pulled in the middle. Neil really wanted to work with us. Debbie really wanted to work with Sydney. Not so much me. But Nick and Michelle wanted to work with Sydney and I. So we got lucky and instantly kind of dropped right in the middle of that. Mm-hmm. So we had the power shift, which was nice. And Sydney and I kind of came to a consensus with each other that if we win, we base our decisions off of what Scott does. If Scott's able to link up with the brains and gets rid of the beauty, we have to team up with the beauties and target the brain.
So the opposite.
Yeah.
Even they always do the opposite, and if it's vice versa, we switch our plan to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So while doing that, Nick started trying to work with me, but you could see him gaming. I always knew Nick would work with me for now and then turn on me later.
Mm-hmm.
And that, though, helped kind of build a relationship and bring the beauties and the Brawn together. So once we went over there, when it was coming down to we were going to vote out Neil or Aubrey in that first part before life kicked in and took Neil away on its own, the beauties were siding with us. Like, it's going to be us linking together. It was never a chance of them going with the brain at that point. Once Neil left, and then we had 6 days of no tribal council, that's when everything turned on us.
Man, that's a lot of days with no tribal council.
It is, and that's what screwed everything up, because it gave you so much time to think everything over and to readjust your plans and to decide what you want to do, that it just destroyed the relationships that we built.
All right, so I'm looking at the timeline, and you really don't think about it because it's 2 episodes. But the SWAT tribe was together almost like 6 days, a week. It happened so fast to us. It's 2 quick episodes. It feels like 3 days or so, a couple challenges. But you guys were getting together a week, and all that what you just said came out of that. And then you get to the merge where everybody's together, and Neil's going to go first with his medevac. And like you said, Peter left on day 16. Nick didn't leave till day 22, like you just said. 6 days without a tribal council.
And that was Nick and Michelle's first tribal.
Yes, 22 days in.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So my question is, when did you lose Sydney?
Nick got me broken up with Sydney. Sydney and I, we stayed close during the swap time. My legs were hurting, and she was the first one that she knew she needed me as her other power source, her and I, as she knew we were both the big power sources in the challenges. So she knew we needed that. My legs were hurting. She was always the first one. Hey, do you want me to massage your legs? I know it keeps cramping up. We were still very close.
Yeah.
We went into the swap, and that's when we started bringing Nick on board a little more. And I have some blame in that? Yeah, because I guess I took for granted the relationship I had with Sydney and forgot the proper ways to talk to her about certain things. So I can see how she might have felt isolated a little.
Yeah, yeah.
And she didn't like certain things Nick was doing. And Nick was trying to play Scott and I, which we saw, but we needed the numbers. So we were allowing it to happen. And then when Nick had this panic moment of when the girls went out with Ty on that boat, and you saw it unfold in the show, it happened just like what you saw. And Sydney's looking, and she flipped the switch of didn't like any of that, and she's the type of person, she don't like it, she's going to tell you. She's very much like me on that fact that she don't sugarcoat things.
Mm-hmm.
And she called it right out, and that was we were already drifting a little, and that was just the nail in the coffin. And when I take her to the well, you see it. My wife jokes about it with me all the time. You see it on my face of I'm screwed in a sense. Like, I need you. You're my...
You got heartbroken.
Yeah, I was heartbroken in a sense of, like, I just got dumped by my girlfriend because of the actions of my buddy, who's an idiot. My buddy made a mistake. I get broken up because of it.
Right.
Yeah, the edit did a good job of that because it seemed like they showed Nick with you guys the whole episode. Like, he never left y'all's side. It was obvious he was trying to fit into her spot, and it just showed, that was a good edit because it showed Sydney realizing what was going on and that she had opportunities. And
it was very much like that.
Yeah. Since you brought up your legs, tell us about your medical adventures on these 30-some days that you were out there. So what else happened while you were out there?
It started for me, everything, my medical downfall started during the swap. That's when I lost my first tooth. Yeah, tooth. And yes, I said my first one because I lost 3.
Oh,
3 teeth! 3 teeth! You didn't hear a peep out of me.
Wow.
And also, I had some... I don't know if it was a bug bite or a cut or what it was, but I had one on top of my left foot. And you could see it starting to get infected, and I hit it, and I hit it very well. I never really took my shoes off, except when I slept. And when I would sleep, I would make sure I had socks on.
Mm-hmm.
So I really hid the fact. The only thing I couldn't completely hide was the swelling, but putting my shoes on would hide that. So I never really brought that to the forefront. And when Jeff came and he's asking about infections, I already saw where Neil's was. I had a feeling what was happening, and I just didn't open my mouth, and I never said anything about it the whole game.
Yeah.
And once Neil got pulled, I knew, as long as I'm out here, this foot is either going to fall off or it's just going to learn to live with it, because I ain't saying nothing to anybody.
So how much dental pain were you in? Because I don't like dental pain. I can deal with a lot of pain in different places, but dental pain drives me nuts.
I am not a fan of dental pain either. And it hurt. My mouth was swollen. I lost 2 teeth on the upper left, and they were right next to each other, and then I lost 1 on my lower right. And my gums were very swollen, more so on the upper left where both those teeth were missing. And the roots were still in, but the teeth were pretty much flush for the most part, except for some jagged pieces right at the gum line.
Yeah.
So every time I ate, I'd have to eat on a certain side of my mouth or chew like a beaver in the front. And it's for a life-changing amount of money that I could do so many good things for my family with that I'm going to embrace the suck. I'm going to drive on. And ain't nobody finding out about these because, like I said, this will change everything in my life.
Right. Now, of course, medical knew about it because medical sees y'all all the time.
Negative.
So medical. Negative? How'd you keep it from medical?
I just didn't tell them.
Oh, they didn't look in your mouth?
No, you walk into medical and they go, how you feel? I'm tired. I'm hungry.
Okay.
But other than that, you feel good? No cuts, no nothing? Nope. You see anything? I'm good. If you don't take off your foot or you don't open your mouth.
Yeah.
Hey, Dwayne.
That's why you can't understand what I'm saying.
Dwayne, I just did a check on Jason, and that necklace he's wearing, he keeps adding teeth to it. Do you know where they're coming from?
What the heck? Now, when you get back to the States, does CBS graciously pay for you to get this stuff taken care of?
Well, they do.
Or
And once I got voted out, and I walked to medical, and you see in my Ponderosa, I walk in, and they're like, "How are you?" And I go, "Well, my gums are swollen." I think I said my gums are still swollen. That's when I broke the news of everything to them. And Doc's looking at me like I got something growing out of my forehead of, "You are the biggest idiot in the world. Why did you not tell us this?" And there's money, Doc. I want some money. So I went to the hospital the next day, and I stayed over there. I stayed overnight with one of the babysitters, and one of the docs had to come with me. And I ended up going to the hospital twice because they thought my foot was getting better. And so I went for dental work, and they started prepping for them and put me on certain antibiotics. And then we went back to the hotel because it was too late to go. And I was messing around with the doc, and then he looked down, and my foot was the size of a football. And he was like, "All right, and we're going back to the hospital." And that's when we went back to the hospital. And that's when I had surgery on my foot. And if you see, I didn't notice it until I rewatched it. The last episode at Final Tribal, you see I'm wearing flip-flops. You see the bandage on my foot of where I had surgery on my foot.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So, other than Neil spending the night before he got to go to Ponderosa, did anybody else have to leave for medical reasons while y'all were there?
And he is again frozen. So, David, what do you think his answer would be?
I'm going to say yes. There's got to be somebody else that went.
My spyware comes up. I think it happens. And they can hear
is that what it is? Your spyware pops up and says you got something wrong or something?
I think so.
Okay.
Because I can still hear you why you guys will be like, "And he's frozen." It's like, I'm not. And then I yell at the computer, and then my wife goes, "Why are you yelling at the computer?"
That's funny because I remember that in our first years of podcasting, and Dwayne was like, "Turn that off. Just tell it to stop popping up." And I used to have stuff pop up all the time.
Yeah, that's probably why you can see us.
Yeah. So did anybody else? Go ahead.
I could see David last night.
Yeah, we had no problems last night. Maybe it's Dwayne. Okay.
Yeah,
so I told you I'd talk to him by myself, but anyway.
I'm the bad one.
That's right. Did anybody else leave Ponderosa for medical reasons while you were there?
Joe did. He had to go to the hospital, and then Neil left again for some checkup. He had to go, and that was about it. I mean, but Ponderosa, everybody else was pretty much set in stone of like, we're here, we're staying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any love connection to Ponderosa? Anybody fall in love while they were there?
Just Scott and I.
Okay.
Where's the mask?
How could you resist when he came out of that closet like that? That was just,
You can't. I totally understand because I mean it's an obvious travel essential.
Yes.
I was waiting for it at the finale. I was waiting for that mask to come out, but it never did.
Scott and I wanted to bring it, and they said it wasn't appropriate attire because he gave me that mask.
Yeah.
And he has a second one, so both Wonder Twins have a matching mask.
Wow. That's a scary thought, y'all two together. Out.
So Neil is gone, medevac. Nick gets blindsided. So where is your game at that point? Do you recall? Did you feel like, we got to start pulling a miracle somewhere, or?
Once Nick went home, I knew, okay, we're on borrowed time.
Yeah.
It was very clear who linked up. It was a girls' alliance going on. And I think what helped us for a while was Ty tried to make a play on me.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody bid on it, and they made a decision like, no, we're getting rid of Nick, and you're just going to be SOL on this one. And when we were sitting there talking, and I asked, who voted for me? And he sat there and tried to spin it to me. Oh, Debbie did. Okay. Instantly, that told me you did it. Because if Debbie did it, how would you know?
Yeah, I was going to say, how would you know so fast?
So I called him out on that, and he quickly went to the fact of, you're right, I did it. I'm sorry, and I went, it's over. Nothing we can do about it, and we have no choice at this point because of your actions. You realize we have no choice but to work with each other.
Yeah.
So let's just, with bygones be bygones, and you and me need to, whatever it is that you don't like about me, you need to check it at the door, because we're stuck together right now. At least for this next vote, we're together. You don't have an option.
Did y'all know you each had an idol at this point?
I knew he had an idol. He didn't know I had one.
Right. Scott had told you, but you hadn't.
We hadn't shared the information with him.
Okay.
And I told them that him and Nick, that Neil had an idol, but we never told Nick that I had one.
Now, how did y'all know Neil had one? Because he said the bulge in his pocket was not an idol at the time.
Oh, Neil can say whatever he wants.
He was going to win too, in case you didn't know that. He was going to beat anybody.
I absolutely love Nick. Neil's a funny guy. He really is. He's clever. He's funny. And he's a good person, but he had an idol in his pocket. And I don't care what he says. Because as much as he even wants us to be like, I didn't. Sydney and I were 100% right. You had an idol. It was the shape of an idol. It looked like an idol. And if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's a duck.
Might taste like chicken, but it's a duck. So. Now, did you? So Ty, when Ty went after you, was that because you were closer to Scott and he wanted to be close to Scott?
He didn't like the relationship Scott and I had. We were too close for him. I believe, and I could be way wrong. He might come out and correct me one of these days. But I believe it was he built this relationship with Scott. I come in, and Scott and I pick up where we left off. And I think, I got him to say he was jealous of our relationship at Final Tribal Council, and I think that has something to do with it, where he looks at it and goes, that's my alliance. Why are you coming in and just plowing me over and taking this guy from me?
Mm-hmm.
And I think he held that against me, and he forgets that we were together first. We're going to be close. It has nothing to do with you, and I'm more than happy, which you see, and more happy and willing to let you in, and let's be this awesome 3-person alliance. But you can't hold that against me, and he did for quite a long time, to the point where he tried to make a play for it.
Yeah.
And then he made a second play for it that worked, but it backfired on him because he couldn't get rid of me. He had to get rid of Scott because I want immunity.
Right. See, that's ironic that's like the third time that came up, because Darnell sidled up to Sydney, which was your alliance. So that's why Darnell got taken out. Nick sidled up to you and Scott, which Sydney didn't like, and that's why Nick got taken out. And then Ty went for the trifecta, but the problem was he was the one that sidled up late. He wasn't the original alliance member. It was you, which is why that wasn't going to break up for you.
Exactly.
For new players to keep in mind, if you see two people tight, you better get with both of them. Don't get with one, because one of them's going to take it wrong, and you could be the next person gone.
Exactly. And I tried many times, to get in closer with Ty. After right before Debbie went out. It was right before Debbie went out. I turned to Ty and said,
He turned to Ty and said, I think you're an amazing person. You're short, but still, you know how to take care of a chicken. And so therefore, while Dwayne and David try to figure out what to say while my spyware ticks everybody off, I just think you're a wonderful person, Ty. Don't you think that's what he said, David?
No, I think what he said was, you vote me again, I am wringing the neck of that little chicken that keeps following you around by the ankle. Try it again.
The winner would be Dwayne, word for word.
Now, but you were thinking the chicken, but you were speaking like Dwayne.
But what happened was, I turned to him and I said the night before I had said that Debbie went out, I had told him, I have an idol. Ty, and he kept it from me still for at least another hour.
You offered it
before he finally, okay, I have one too. I know. I already know, Ty. This is why you need to trust me. I haven't blasted you out on anything. I never asked you for what your advantage was. I've been here for you. And he just, something about me made him unsure.
Yeah, I can't imagine what it was.
Who knows? I have such a warming face.
But at least we know that there is a time that Ty thought before he spoke, because every other time he was asking questions, he just blurted out what he was thinking. He didn't think about it twice.
Can you give me something to drink?
I think the maid went home.
We take a moment to refresh our beverages as we
Talking
continue
with
on.
his wife.
I asked her if she'd get me something to drink, and her response to me, she looks at me dead serious and goes, I think the maid went home already.
I thought she was going to say, I'll wait till the next commercial.
They absolutely love your response, hon. Anything. It doesn't have to be this.
So, was there any sabotage that we did not see that was performed? Speaking of Debbie going out, which I still think that was part of the sabotage and it actually worked. But
Thank you.
Was there? I'm one of the few. But was there any other sabotage we did not see?
Yes, you didn't see the Debbie sabotage.
Well, it wasn't just drinking her water that she poured wasn't enough.
I
love it.
You know that was funny. How she didn't see that coming? How did she not see that coming? And that was spur of the moment. That cracks me up every time I see it.
Right.
Debbie decided she was going to retaliate sabotage on Scott and I on behalf of the entire camp.
Okay.
And all that did was anger the entire camp. Because her form of retaliation was, okay, I'm going to take all the pillows from the shelter and hide them. And, well, now nobody has a pillow.
Wow.
You know, like, when we sabotage, we at least got together and were like, can each person of this sabotage live with what we're about? We can? You're okay with it? Okay, let's go take this stuff. Let's go do this. She just was like, no one's having pillows, so you know, they're already hidden, and I'm not going to tell anyone where they're at. So they all get mad, and then she moved the camp because she thought we were going to retaliate and moved the fire, moved all the stools, all the equipment to underneath the shelter of where she slept, like she was going to be a bodyguard to it all. And the camp lost their minds.
Wow.
Just turning on each other, and if we didn't do what we did, she wouldn't have done what she did. And what she did was got herself voted out. So it worked. We needed, our plan was we got to split them up and break at least one of them, because then we'll live a little longer. And that's exactly what happened. And she broke. She decided she was going to go on her own crusade, and it took her all the way out of the game.
See, I like that story so much better than Aubrey realizing she can't trust Debbie anymore, or she can't control Debbie. I like that story so much. That would have been so much better to watch. But that was it because of the sabotage. And it got all you need is 2 to 3 more days. Anything can happen in 2 to 3. Another medevac. Another something comes up. All you need is to get past the next tribal council.
Exactly. You know, and that game, like I said earlier, I already knew I was on borrowed time.
Yeah.
So everyone sits there and they go, yeah, but that's going to reflect to you and you're going to get voted out because of that. My plan at this point is just to make it day by day. So if it gets me one more day, I succeeded.
Yeah.
Because I shouldn't be here.
Yeah. And every person you last longer than is a little bit of extra money.
That's right.
I like money.
A little bit of extra money.
So the good thing about the next episode is you win immunity, which has to be one of the highlights of your Survivor career, to win immunity just to know I've got 5 to 6 more days, period. You know, I'm set. I can almost sleep for the next 3 days. The bad part is it sets up the biggest backstab of the season.
It really did. It really, really did.
And to me, that killed any chance Ty had of winning this game or getting any votes at the end. I thought that was the worst thing he could have done.
That's when Ty killed his game.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. That because everybody is as accepting as the other alliance was about bringing Ty in. They still stood in the same spot that Scott and I stood in of, and why did you do that? Because it didn't help you. It helps them, so of course they're going to allow it and bring him in.
Mm-hmm.
And then they see the devastation that it does to his own game, and, oh, well, you're staying as long as we can get you to stay. But it killed his chances because everyone says the same thing we said. You went from this alliance where you feel like you're the third wheel because they're so close, and jump ship to an alliance where you're going to be the third wheel because they're so close.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you sit there and you go, well, I did it because I didn't get a say in the alliance of Scott and Jason. And you go to an alliance where you see unfold in the game, you don't have a say.
Even when you think you do.
So he makes these lateral moves that don't help him out. He's got a better, and I'm sure he thinks of it now, or at least I hope he does. He has more of a chance of winning if he stays with Scott and I than he does making the play he did.
Yeah. I just don't think Survivor's made for Ty. I mean, or Ty's not made for Survivor.
No, and you know he never. That's not what he originally tried out for.
Oh, really? What did he try out for?
The Amazing Race.
Oh, okay.
And he wanted to be on the Amazing Race with his partner Mark, who, FYI, won in the straightest way possible. He's a good-looking guy.
Okay.
2, he is one of the nicest human beings I ever met in my life. If you sit there and you watch the show, and you go, Ty is so nice, probably one of the sweetest guys in the world. Ty looks like an evil mastermind next to Mark, because that guy is by far the nicest human being you've ever met in your life.
Nice. Wow.
Which is why neither one of them could ever play Survivor to the nth degree, because you have to be willing to back. You can't just do a U-turn. I mean, that's evil on Amazing Race is a U-turn. In Survivor, no. On day 6, you got to stab somebody. On day 12, you got to lie to somebody. Day 18, you've got to steal from somebody.
Yeah.
That's part of playing Survivor.
Very true. Very true. But from what I get where they're coming from, and he tried to go on the Amazing Race, and they looked at Ty and went, oh, no, you're going to be amazing ratings here on Survivor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've got a chicken for you.
Which, for the record, he got $50,000 for keeping that chicken alive.
Yeah.
I should get 3% of that because
Nobody does anything on Survivor by themselves.
Yeah, if we wanted to eat that chicken, you weren't going to stop me from eating that chicken. You can keep a lot. I want 3%.
Yeah. And Kelly said right here on our podcast, on the finale recap, that they ate Mark just a few weeks ago. Yeah. She said, I recognized that chicken, and we ate him. And she was dead serious. That was the chicken. I don't care what CBS says. We ate that chicken.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I loved Jeff's face when he brought the chicken to Final Tribal Council, because Jeff was just like, oh, come on. Like, he had that look on his face of like, I don't want to see this chicken. Little did he know that chicken was going to be ratings gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and a nice crazy segment in the finale. Thanks for that 10 minutes that we didn't get to talk to 10 other people.
My gosh. Tell me that didn't annoy the heck out of you. I mean, come on.
My face didn't look thrilled, did it?
And surely it wasn't planned. Wow, it was so spontaneous. But anyway.
So spontaneous that security was even caught off guard and didn't tackle her.
Yeah. Was like, what is this? Well, okay, anyway, we don't have to go on there. So how close were you to wringing the chicken's neck after Scott left? Because I know that on one side you were thinking, Ty, how could you do this? And on the other side is that little devil going, hey, it wasn't you. You're still here. So
yes.
bye, Scott. See you, buddy.
I to be honest, I never thought of killing that chicken out of retaliation. At a certain point, that chicken meant nothing to anybody anymore. Like, we stopped thinking of, like, we're going to eat this chicken. I mean, Julia made jokes about it. We all made jokes about it. The only person that hated that chicken was Joe. Joe hated that chicken with everything inside of him. And I swear to you, the chicken knew Joe hated him and would taunt Joe because of it. Like, every time Joe ate, like, if I ate, the chicken, like, stopped coming up to me and would do his chicken stuff. If Aubrey ate, it would just do his chicken stuff. If Joe started eating, the chicken would come up to him and be like, hey, Joe, you going to share that with me? And start pecking him and start messing with him. And Joe would get angry and start swatting the chicken and kicking at the chicken. And the chicken would keep coming and fighting Joe. Like, they hated each other. It was so much fun to watch that chicken mess with Joe and Joe lose his mind over the chicken that it was like tuning into television.
Yeah.
So you just couldn't get rid of the chicken simply for that factor of like, oh no, but then who's going to mess with Joe?
Right. I bet it was fun to mess with Joe. I bet it was a lot of fun to mess with Joe.
It was, and then there was always Joe was always like he's a good guy outside the game. In the game, we didn't get along, but he was great for jokes. Like, he would be complaining of how tired he was and how hungry he was, and he didn't have the energy to do anything. And then you turn and you look, and he's on the beach doing his crunchies. And then we'd all start laughing, and you're like, I thought you were tired and weak. Why are you doing crunchies?
Tell you look at him after his last days, and you could tell that he lost a lot. I mean, he's a built guy, but man, he was in bad shape when he left the game.
Yeah, I can feel for him on that aspect. You saw how my body turned.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing happened to him, just in a different way. But really, the body just ate itself, and I can see his struggle on that.
We've talked to folks a year or two later, and they're still not physically 100%. Where are you at compared to when you started?
Just recently, like 2 months ago, not even that, about a month ago, I finally got back to the weight I was when I left.
Wow, it took you a year, over a year.
Took me just over a year. And I'm still not the size I was. I'm a little more lean now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm back at that same weight, and just I would balloon, and then the weight would just start falling off again. And I for the longest time, I wasn't able to keep weight on.
I don't have that problem.
Did you try to gorge on food or anything before you left? I know Tony did that with peanut butter and stuff, but did you try any of that?
Yes, I kind of carbo loaded before I left, of the fact of I want to give my body something to be able to lose.
Mm-hmm.
I continue to lift heavy. I continued my normal exercises. I just did everything I could to lift my protein intake before I left to give me a little bit more fat.
Yeah. So, of all people to win immunity for your episode to leave, it's Sydney. She gets you one more time by making sure that you don't win immunity. So
3 steps.
Yeah.
3 steps. It'll haunt me forever, but that challenge was difficult. It lasted for a long time, and everybody dropped their blocks repeatedly, including Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
And what was impressive is, and even Jeff talked about it while we were there, was nobody really quit for the first time. Like, your blocks dropped, and everyone instantly sprinted back to them, picked them up, reset, and went right back at it again. And there was constant shift changes. But the end was very accurate on the fact of how close Sydney and I really were. And I was 3 steps away. I guess I got a little too much tension on the rope to make them fall. And Sydney was really right there. Like, it wasn't a time delay or edit to make us look closer. We were really in a heated couple steps difference, and I was like 3 steps, she was like 5, and as soon as mine dropped, she went straight into just even more focus. It didn't move, and more power to her. She did great. I was hoping everything inside of me she was going to drop and everybody else would too, so I'd get another chance, but that was asking a lot.
Yeah. So just kind of a little bit off topic, but I want to ask this because I know a lot of people want to know it. I know you've said that you have no regrets, but is there anything that you wish you would have changed about your game that you might have played differently, or are you happy with how you played?
I'm happy 100% with how I played. 100%. I love everything in game. If I got the opportunity to change anything, it would have been one incident at Ponderosa, not in the game.
Well, that's where we are in our discussion right now. So let's go to Ponderosa. Now that you know what Ponderosa is,
yes,
we can go to Ponderosa and talk about what that one incident was. What was the first thing you ate when you got to Ponderosa?
I had breakfast. Come on now. I
That's
went
right. That's
straight
right.
for
Breakfast food.
scrambled eggs, toast, pancakes, everything.
Yeah. David?
You were talking, Dwayne, and I stepped on you.
Oh, I said, wasn't that on your Ponderosa video that you had breakfast?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
And that's the only one we watched. So yes, we should know every second of it. We've watched all of them. I don't remember every second of every Ponderosa video, but yes, I do remember he wanted breakfast. Everybody was talking about cheeseburgers and hamburgers, and he wanted breakfast when we got up there.
Yeah.
And I got it.
Yeah.
And then, so was it later that night that you went back to the hospital after you actually just arrived at Ponderosa?
Next morning they took me.
Next morning they took you. Okay. And you were there for the whole day and that night?
Yeah, well, we left at like afternoon, but at like noonish. But it's a 45-minute boat ride from Ponderosa to the port, and then from the port to the hospital in Phnom Penh, it's a 4-hour bus ride.
On probably the smoothest pavement possible.
Very, very highly conditioned roads. So once we got there, we knew, like, we're spending the night because we're not going to, at a certain hour, like, we could get back to, we knew we'd be able to get back to the port, but at a certain hour, you can't take boats.
Right.
Okay.
I want to ask you, what did you think about the twist with the jury? Like, if you had been the one that she had voted off, would you have had the same opinion that you have now?
Oh, of course not.
Okay.
I feel for Nick. Like, that sucks. That sucks, especially for, I feel for Nick. I feel for Neil. Forget Nick. He didn't get voted out. No, I feel for Neil. He was the first one there. I mean, we got a lot of great jokes about it because we messed with Neil on, about time you got voted out of the game. It's a lot of tremendous jokes for him. It sucks to be him on that aspect of, you love this game, you've been watching forever, you get taken out of the game for this reason of an infection. Like, you didn't even get eliminated. And then you are the first person ever to get voted out of the jury. So guess what? You don't get a vote. Get out of here. See you later. Like that, that's terrible. From the fan aspect, I love it. You watch the game evolve yet again, and it changes, and there is no prep for it. And yes, it turns out it didn't matter for her. She wins anyways. Maybe. I mean, if everyone's still thinking the exact same way when they vote, I know she earned some vote power because of her winning that, so maybe things shift, but 5-2, good chance it still doesn't change anything. But fan aspect, I love it because you see in the game evolve once again and seeing something happen, and now you can't. It's a decision that's either $1 million decision or a $100,000 decision. It's either going to make you or break you.
And you or Scott were thinking it was you.
She described me.
Yeah.
I don't care what she said. She described me. She's talking about the power to talk in front of other people. I've been doing that all game at Tribal Council.
Right. And that was getting pointed out a lot towards the end of your time.
Yeah, and then, like, Debbie made a comment of like, "Oh, it's nice having you, Jason." Julia's patting me on the back of like, "No, you're my buddy. I don't want to see you leave." Scott's like, "Yep, you're gone." So the consensus on the jury was me, and then the longer she's talking, then it starts turning like, is it me? Maybe you're safe, Jason. And then she's like, "Neil," and everyone's like, "Oh, you didn't see that coming? That's funny. We're gonna mess with you, Neil." I just love how Neil, on his way out, he says what he has to say and gives them no time to edit him.
Yeah.
Because he talks from the time he stands up to the time he walks out. So you're not even going to put in that shot of just him walking quiet. Like, you're stuck airing it.
Right. All right, so before we get to the vote and the Aubrey Michelle, I want to go back to what you haven't answered yet, your one regret at Ponderosa.
Yeah, this sucks. The only regret I would have would be Ponderosa when Sydney got voted out. Because when I got voted out, what you didn't see is I whisper in Sydney's ear. And I'm very much on her side and show a lot of respect to her, which she deserved. And at some point in Ponderosa, when you get there and you got all this time to think, and you're constantly focusing in on different aspects of your game, everybody starts getting bitter at a certain point. And a big chunk of us, for whatever reason, we weren't bitter at the finalists. We got bitter towards Sydney. Like, she did it, and she did it on her own, which we all know isn't true. It's more than one person a tango. And she just, for whatever reason, we got jaded towards her, and we took it out on her. And that's the only thing I regret. When she came out of the game and she walked up to Ponderosa, I didn't go up and greet her, and to this day I wish I did. And I've talked to her about it, and we talk now, and we are good now, and I've said all this same stuff to her, so she knows where I stand on it and knows that I legitimately feel bad towards her for that, because I really like her and I respect her, and she is a great person, and her dedication to her career is amazing, and it's traits like that I want to watch my own kids have, dedication towards something you love so much. So that's my only regret, is I wish I treated her with more respect at Ponderosa than I did when she first got voted out.
When was the first time you talked to her after that Ponderosa?
The night, the Caleb and the night.
And again. Oh, here he's back. Go ahead. What?
The night the Caleb Medevac aired.
So from the time y'all left
Ponderosa to just over a year later.
And you hadn't spoken to her.
Correct. And it was a mixture, I think, between letting the dust settle, giving you time to reflect back at the game, what happened, start living your normal life again. And I was very cautious when I reached out to her, because we were over Scott's house. My family and Scott's family were together. Michelle and Julia came in, and Michelle was talking with Sydney, and I just very nonchalantly asked Michelle can you ask Sydney if it would be all right for me to have her phone number to reach out to her. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And Sydney said, yeah, that's fine. And we started slow, with a text message, and I let her know how I felt, and that, like, hey, you didn't do anything. That was 100% me. And we were able to talk. I just didn't want to give her the impression that I was trying to reach out right before the finals to, like, minimize things. That's why I've been so vocal on not hiding. The same thing I said to her of saying out in public of, like, yeah, it is what it is. That was me. That was my fault. I didn't treat you right there. That one's on this guy. Just so she knew it wasn't a fake reach out, that it was really genuine. And we talked to this day. I mean, I just had a full conversation with her again yesterday. I talked to her after a lot of her shows of congratulating her and letting her know that we're keeping track of her. And she asked about my kids and my wife. And our friendship has gotten back to where it was. And she's just, it's nice.
Dwayne, what were you going to ask before I cut you off?
I don't remember.
Well, I wanted to ask.
I've been trying to ask you something, and your phone just died. So
It just died. What was the vibe during your time at Ponderosa as to, did y'all have discussions about who you think was doing the best game, who was playing the best game, or, you know, what was the vibe at that time, or where was your head as to who was playing the best game?
My head?
Yeah.
Okay. The mood at Ponderosa, we really didn't talk too much about what was happening or what we thought was happening from that point on.
Mm-hmm.
Like we would go to tribals and come back and really not talk about tribal at all. And we didn't really share our views to each other about what we were thinking too much. We just would talk about the past in a sense of what happened to us while we were all in the game together.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of fun. It was a party, that's for sure. We got treated very well, and we had a good time joking around and goofing around.
yeah.
Where I was at that point, and obviously the way it aired out, other people were in that same spot as me. I thought at that time Michelle was playing the best game, simply for the fact of I looked at her and said, "You're next." Every tribal I said, "You're next. It's you. You're gone." And she kept skating somehow. You didn't see how it happened, but she kept skating in one way, shape, or form. And then she would show up and she'd have an immunity idol, and she's voting a jury member out, and all these things are happening, and we're going, you should be the one going home, but somehow you've snuck your way into this alliance to the point where, are you a power player? And she was getting a lot of credit for things that maybe she didn't necessarily deserve, but she obviously got there for a reason. So I'm not taking that away from her. I just was thinking she was playing a little better than she was.
Yeah.
That's why my vote went towards her at the time. So I stand by my vote of where I was voting for her at that moment, because that's what I thought was happening. You can only see the game through your two eyes.
Right.
And I take a lot of heat online for, oh, well, you showed so much respect towards Aubrey during the game. Yes, I did. I had respect for Aubrey in the game, but I also didn't see – I had the respect for her as a competitor going up against her. When I won immunity, she's right there with me. It doesn't – just because you're right there with me and you're giving me a run for my money doesn't mean you deserve $1 million because of that. I just think you're a great competitor, but I don't see the fact that you are the one heading up your alliance. And everyone's like, oh, well, she's always on the right side of the vote. A lot of people are always on the right side of the vote.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we always looked at her and said, you got 2 votes. You got you and Joe. That's always 2.
Yeah.
I have to work for my second vote. You don't. You just tell your second vote who to vote for, and that's who they're voting for. So
but that's a good thing.
Yes, but we
That's
always
kudos to her game.
yes, but we also didn't see that all the work she would put in too of getting all these other people on board.
Yeah, yeah.
If I'm never working with you, why would I ever see that? Because I'm not allowed to see it. We never were on the same team. We never worked on the same tribe. We never had an alliance together. So I did have one with Michelle.
Okay.
So I already had some form of relationship with how she was playing, and I rated her at a certain spot, and then she was able to somehow stay in, and where I put her, she passed and opened up at the end of the game and started doing really well. So I gave her all this extra credit for it. Now, if I could hold my vote until after I watched the season air, yes, my vote changes for Aubrey. because now I see behind this veil or this curtain that I was never allowed into, and I look at her, and I think it was the day who went out there. It might have been the Nick one, the Nick vote out, where I turned to my wife and I went, I voted for the wrong person.
Really? Not even that. Wow, just that far into the game and it hit you.
Yeah, and
I was so surprised.
Because I see so much more coming for her, and then every week I see more and more, and like when she turns to Ty, gets Ty to leave me, and she sits up to him and she goes, "They are despicable people. You're not like that." I'm sitting there and not thinking, like, never in my head did I go, "Oh, that's screwed up. I can't believe you would talk about me like that." I look at it, and the minute I see her do that, I go, "Oh, that was good. You're pulling on every heartstring of that guy. You know exactly what to say to him to make him go."
And his spyware acts up again. By the way, chat room, we are about to start taking your questions. But just know that when they scroll off my screen because a whole bunch of other people have asked stuff, I'm not going to go back up and try to find it. So if we haven't asked your question, just ask it again, and we'll try to get to as many of them as possible as soon as Jason gets back.
Yeah. Since he's frozen, I'll bring up one last point that it just goes back to our pre-finale podcast that we did with Cass. She pointed out exactly all you get is tribal council. You don't get anything else. You don't get to see anything else. And then I think it was Andy Westover that said Aubrey played the best silent strategic game of the season, where the public, we got to see it through the edit, and like Jason said, he got to see it, but nobody else that voted got to see it the way we did, and that just set her back. So
I'm back.
Yep.
Yeah, Jason, this is the first season that I have watched where I literally felt like a deflated balloon when they announced the winner.
It was hard.
And yeah, because I watched that season, and I watched Aubrey play, and I thought, my goodness, she's playing a great game. And Michelle takes it, and I was like, So.
It was hard. It was hard. I mean, you see at the finals, if you you see us all congratulating each other on stage. Like Aubrey and I had a long hug together. We've gotten close outside the game since it's happened, and I've got to have this whole talk with her. And she's in a good place, and she's taking this so I hate to say professionally because it's not a job, but you know what I mean. And it's
very poorly.
Yeah, it's incredible to see how well she took it, but she understands of what happened. And, I mean, I hope she gets another shot because she truly deserves it on just her game style, and she knows this game. And I think she can do it. Yeah.
We're actually pretty excited because she's already recorded some raw files for me to edit. She's going to be our you listen to our show, so you know we have different people do our introductions. And she's doing our intro for a season 33.
That's
so I'm
awesome.
pretty excited. Yeah.
I wasn't asked, but
Well, that's because I asked before David asked you.
But I do get my own special guest podcast that I don't see her having right now.
There you go.
That's right.
Thanks, David.
Anytime, bud.
All right, so I'm going to ask a question. Jason, we're going to go ahead and do some chat room questions. And if that's cool with you, we're about 2 hours in. Do you mind doing some chat room questions?
Let's have a good time. This is still shorter than all the fixins. I sat in that room doing all the fixins for 5.5 hours, so we're way ahead of the curve.
What? Was it a 5.5 hour show?
No, they
really
edited it down to 3.
Wow. See, we don't ever edit ours down. We just let it go. Sometimes I edit stupid stuff I say out, but we don't ever.
It makes it so raw and natural.
Yeah. All right, Rachel, you're not going to get kicked out of the chat room. I'm going down to see if I can find the question. Wow, I don't see any questions. There you go. There's no questions. They are, but they're way up high, and I can't see them. So.
Well, that ended quickly.
No, believe me, they have questions. They've been asking for like the last 30 minutes. When are we going to have questions? When are we going to have questions?
We're ready for questions, everybody.
That's right. So go ahead. All right, hear it again. What was the cast's reaction when they learned that their season was bumped for Second Chance? That's from Rachel.
It was quiet. I figured it out the night before. We were they left a computer open, and a bunch of video footage from our season was up, and it was labeled season 32. So I knew something was up, and they came clean about it the next morning once everybody was there, and nobody really said a word. Everyone was very quiet, and you could see we were bummed. I mean, that's a long time to wait, and that's the first time it ever happened, and it must suck to be one of the 3 finalists, and, well, see you in a year.
Say that again, what?
Hope your bill collectors hang on.
It must suck. Yeah, hope your bill collectors hang on, because it must suck to be one of those finalists, and then you're looking at it, and see in a year you'll get the decision.
Oh, right. Well, now, did Michelle know? Because I kind of heard that that she was kind of saying stuff that she had won.
I'm not sure 100%. No one really admitted to each other if they told anybody. Scott and I knew who each other voted for.
Aubrey admits she said about halfway through Final Tribal she really felt like her chances were dwindling. She thought she'd played a good game, but she felt the way the questions were going, the comments were going, she said she was not holding out hope when the finale came around.
Yeah. All right, so now we've got one from Survivor Central, which is actually, his name is John. Why was Joe's loyalty to Aubrey considered a mark against her game? Isn't it a good thing to cultivate such a loyal ally?
It is a good thing to make a loyal ally. But a lot of us looked at if you're working for it. It was more so angerness towards Joe that he didn't try anywhere. He would quit every challenge. We would help him out in certain ways, and he would be condescending towards certain people and was always overlooked. So it was more so you're wasting the spot and you're getting drug along and you're the one doing the dragging. And we all look at it as we know why you're doing the dragging on that, because you can't get a single vote.
Right.
Well, I was very interested to see what would have happened with Joe if Aubrey got voted out, because I felt like Joe was playing, what brains are left? Okay,
and I was trying.
Yeah.
I was trying to bring that to you.
Okay, Deb got voted out? All right, well, who's left? Oh, Aubrey's left. Okay, I'm going to go sit beside Aubrey and be her watchdog. When he doesn't go on the reward, he has to sit at camp and just he's not allowed to talk to you guys.
All right, here's another question from Patricia. She asks, why did Scott go to Aubrey then instead of Michelle? Why did Scott go to Aubrey then instead of Michelle when he was trying to play "quote unquote" nice? If you didn't know she was the leader.
Because we thought we could bring her over to us, and we needed numbers.
Pick her off the outside of the other group and bring her to your group.
Yes, and we believed we could have gotten Michelle way easier without talking to her because of our relationship with Julia.
Yeah.
So it would be more of a, Julia, you're with us, go work on your girl, and Aubrey was the person we needed to bring over.
Yeah. All right, so Mir I Am White, otherwise known as Vader Girl, if Jason made it to the end, so Jason, if you made it to the end with Michelle and Ty, would you have won?
Yeah. Yeah, I win.
Of course. Of course.
I mean, who's ever going to say that they won't? But I look at it, and I really do believe I had votes on that jury. I had way more votes on that jury than America wanted to give me credit for, and that's fine. I was respected by that jury. Do I lose Julia's vote? Yeah, I think so. I think Julia still votes for Michelle at the end of the day, but I believe I make it a lot harder for her to do that because I built up a relationship with Jules. Do I got Scott's? Yes. Do I still think Ty's getting any votes? No. I think at that point I'm definitely pulling Neil's vote. I'm pulling Nick's vote. and I might be able to pull Debbie's. I don't have Sydney's. Well, I might at that point because of the way I whispered in her ear and let her know I wasn't holding anything against her at that time. But I only whisper that if I go out of the game, so that probably doesn't happen. So I still might lose hers, but I think I pull Aubrey's. I pull enough numbers to win.
Yeah. All right. Megan from Canada said that you came up there to meet meet her.
Yes, I did. My wife set it up. She was a big fan, and we went up there because she's only like an hour away. So why not? I'll meet the people.
We love Joe's Man Bun. Is her?
I think that's also her Twitter handle because that's a Twitter account too.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
As a fan of the show, do you like the Brain, Brawn, and Beauty theme? If you play it again, who do you work with and who do you work against? Did you like I love the Brain, Brawn, Beauty theme. I think it's been a hit twice. And I also love how it labels people right off the bat.
I do like the theme, and we're suckers. We're Americans, so we're always gonna straight up fall into the category that you put us into and live up to it. Because you hear us talking about it all the time. I'm a Brawn. I'm gonna let you know. They think I'm tough. You know, the brains, they think I'm smart. The beauties, oh yeah, I'm pretty. So of course we're gonna fall into that, just like the saps that they wanted us to be. I do like it. It makes it fun. It's better than some of the other ones that they've had. Like, I'm not a fan of this new one, Millennials and Gen X. You call it what it is, old versus young.
Right.
Yeah.
I think some of them are hits and some of them aren't, and I think BBB works really well. I don't understand the last part of that question that they asked.
I'm not sure if they're asking if you were playing with this group again, who would you work with, who would you not work with?
If I was playing with this group again, obviously Scott and Julia, and I want to work with Aubrey. And I know Aubrey wants to work with me. We talked many times and had the same conversation over and over and over that if only we had a conversation before the votes happened, we might have changed everything and linked up together.
Yeah.
We've really learned to respect each other's game and game style and gameplay, and we wish we would have done it, but you can't play the here nor there card. Everything's better in hindsight.
Yeah.
Because I change one thing and I might be the first or second boot.
Yeah. See, I always hate the who would you vote for now at the finale. I hate when they ask that question. You know, it's about the 39 days, and it is what it is. So.
Yeah, but it's still kind of a bummer that, like if I'm Aubrey, then I'm like, really? I played the best game, but they didn't get to see it. Well, but maybe, I don't know.
That's part of the game, though.
Right. So I guess the question is, what could she have done differently so that people like you, Jason, see how she's playing?
And we've had this talk. Her and I have had this talk. And she played behind such a curtain of secrecy, and she was so good at keeping things from us that was her own demise, in a sense, because when she finally sat there at Tribal Council, at the very last final Tribal Council, and was like, I did this, and this. We, as a jury, sat there and went, when? When'd you do this? Because none of us ever saw it. And
you just didn't remember?
Not really, because we could see certain things, or what we thought we saw with Michelle, of when she's saying she did this, we go, yeah, I get it, because you were supposed to be gone and you're here. And then when we watch the show air, we sit there and go, everything she said she did, she did. Yeah. So if she was a little more open about the big moves that she pulled and took credit for, she changes the whole outcome of the game.
But at the same time, that might ruin her game.
Yeah, if she reveals too much too early, she gets voted out easier. I mean,
it's a fine line. It's a fine line. And it goes right back to everything's better in hindsight.
Yeah.
So really, the only thing she could have done to made you vote for her is to, during the game, have shown a little bit more of her gameplay.
Yes, very much so.
because nothing she said at tribal council was going to make a difference.
No, and I think a lot of people, I was one of the ones that might have been a little different of, I still had an openness. I wanted to hear what the questions that I asked, how they were answered in order to lock that vote in, but I had an idea of where my vote was going.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you see, I have a hard time writing the name down of exactly who I'm giving it to. So there was thought. I did ask Aubrey a question, and she answered it. She answered it very truthfully, but it gave me enough to think, do I give her that credit? And then I voted Michelle, so she didn't get it.
Yeah.
But most people, I believe, are going into tribal locked away.
Mhm.
This is who I'm voting for. It doesn't matter what the questions are that are asked, unless someone does something crazy and really shoots himself in the foot at tribal.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, if anyone was going to do that, it would have been Ty, because he was really good at shooting himself in the foot.
Right. So Ryan D is asking a question that I think you've pretty much already answered. What did Aubrey do or say on the island that you didn't believe her at tribal council speech? Well, you basically said everything she said. You didn't believe her. And also, were any of the players alternatives or alternates?
Alternate, yeah.
Like last minute?
No, one of our alternates is actually on season 33.
Oh, cool. Cool.
So
and
all of our people made it, and the one gentleman didn't, and he's been released. Well, CBS hasn't really claimed him yet, but it's almost foregone.
Right. Well, they showed the whole. They showed everybody on the preview. We've seen all of them.
I
It's
haven't.
really Oh well, I mean, on the preview that they showed at your finale show, for the first time ever, they showed actual players.
Yeah, they've done that. They showed players from our season, they showed confessional style for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't do that with us, no.
Hey, Rachel wants to know where you got your jacket for the finale.
I had it made.
Was it Don Cherry?
No, it wasn't. It was made by who made my jacket? What company? Angelinos.
Mm-hmm.
I looked crazy walking into the tailor. I was like, I need a floral suit jacket made in 3 days. And
Wow.
the guy looked at me and goes, yeah, okay, come on, let's get this done. Oh, okay.
Okay. Rian wants a specific example of something that Aubrey did that you didn't see, but that she said she did at the final tribal, but that you didn't see.
Wow, they really I want dates and times, and there was
wants to know what she was wearing.
One thing it's funny to me how the people, I say the stuff and they can't believe it, but obviously 5 out of 7 thought the same thing.
Right.
So it's not me alone. The way she manipulated Ty, none of us saw that. Ty just flipped. We didn't see it. Why would Scott see it? Why would I see it? Why would Julia see it? Ty just went away. The way she got Sydney locked in on her side. Was that a Sydney move? Was that an Aubrey move? What did she say to Sydney? How did she say it? There's plenty of examples. You got to remember, why would we ever see it? I'm on the other side.
Right. Right.
So was Nick voting not for Michelle, or did he see something in Aubrey that he wanted to vote for?
He has come out and said that his vote was for Michelle. But because of final tribal council, Aubrey persuaded him to move his vote towards her.
Okay.
So he saw something differently than us.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's an interesting question from Vader Girl, Miriam White. Is Aubrey the female Russell?
No.
No, I think
I
Russell's
don't
game
know.
was seen by everybody, and that's why they didn't vote for him.
I'm very curious, Miriam.
Russell's game was.
Why would you even ask that question? I want to know why you think that, or do you not think that, or do you? I'm asking her why she thinks that, or why she asked that. I'm very curious. So, she hasn't answered yet. But no, I didn't see her as being a Russell, and you obviously didn't either. So, all right, here's one from Rachel. Last one, she says, how does he feel that... How do you feel about returnee seasons, and do you feel like CBS is overdoing it with returnee seasons? Except for I
like returnee seasons. I do.
Well, of course you do now.
Yeah. No, I liked it before because you get to watch some of your favorites come back and go against people. I think there's been a lot of them lately. It almost feels like every other season is a returnee season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do really like to see them. The last, I was excited about Jeremy coming back because I liked him. I was a big Jeremy fan. I liked watching Tyson come back. I really got pumped. The last time I really got pumped, other than them two, to see someone come back was probably James. I'm a huge James fan.
Yeah.
So I like him. I would want to see him. I would want to see them keep doing them. Just slow it down a bit.
I would like to see a little bit more of a variety. Like, if you do a full returnee season, the next time you're going to do returning players, do like 3 and 3 tribes. You know, go back like the Philippines did. I thought that was really good. Don't keep giving us full 18, 20 returnees every other season, because I think we're missing out on new interesting people.
I think we could do clever things, and this is my pitch, which means it will never happen.
Or if it does, we've been thinking about this for 15 years and finally decided it was the right time.
And Tyler Perry called back.
What I would love to see as a returning season would be alliances. Bring back 6 3-person alliances.
Nice.
We'll put them on different tribes.
Break them. No, keep them together.
Okay.
Break them up into 3 tribes, just like BBB. So it's 3 tribes of 6. Right from the get, very first tribal, you're either drawing rocks to break people up, or you're watching blindsides happen right away where alliances are burning each other, and it's going to happen over and over and over, and you're never going to suspect which alliances are going to stay true and sucking another alliance in, which alliances are going to break up right away, who's going to leave. I think it would be a lot of fun, crazy dynamics, and just bring back your favorite group alliances. Some alliances, too, to this day might not work. I would love to, like, if I got to go back on that, I'd want Scott and Julia. That'd be a great alliance.
Mm-hmm.
But you could really throw a wrench in our plans and put Scott, and Ty. Oh, great. We saw how this ended last time. So
really.
Who makes the move first? Do we ditch Ty right away? Do we roll the dice and let Ty nail us again? Like, there's a lot of different... It doesn't mean the alliances ended nicely. It just means you were one at one point.
Right.
Yeah. By the way, Miriam did explain her question, her Russell question. It was more of, she's like Colby or Russell, where she has game and popular vote, but doesn't win. So that's where her comparison was, not in gameplay, just that, like, wow, we thought he was going to win.
If you're gonna compare anyone to Russell Hantz on that aspect, you have to bring in his gameplay.
Yeah.
You have to.
But that's what she meant. So Rayon D asked, that last twist at the end, would you have preferred that jury kick or a double vote? So no one leaves. as a fan and as a player? I'm not sure I understand that question. Do
Well,
you,
he's
David?
asking which twist would you prefer? Of course, the jury kick is at the end, final tribal, but the double vote could happen any time earlier.
I don't like the double vote. It don't work. It's never worked. If it's gonna work, you play it right away, instantly.
If anything, you don't want it because it puts an extra target on your back that you have an advantage. So why not get rid of the guy that's got the advantage? Why take on the extra target?
Exactly. I like the jury vote. Get rid of a jury member. It's great. I like it.
Well, now it's fair game. It'll probably happen again. You know?
And it's never going to be perfect. They're going to pick the wrong person at some point. So
yeah,
it's just more strategy.
Yeah. Here's a question from Will the Giant Ninja. If Joe hadn't been medevaced, we could very easily have been left with a Joe Aubrey tie final 3, or even a final 2. Assuming Joe, Aubrey, and Ty, and trying to ignore what you learned by watching the show, who do you think would have gotten your vote? Who do you think would have won? So in a Joe Aubrey tie at Tribal Council, not what you know now, but at Final Tribal, who do you think would have gotten your vote? Joe Aubrey tie.
Well, I mean, who talks? Aubrey talks. So either you believe her or you don't believe her.
Well, I don't know. Why don't we let
I think it still ends up being Aubrey. Ty's not going out with no votes, though, this time.
Yeah.
Joe's getting no votes. Ty's getting some, and I think Aubrey still ends up winning because there's not someone that's stealing. I don't want to say stealing. There's not somebody getting more credit than Aubrey for actions that happened at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
What'd she say?
I have no idea. She whispered.
Oh. Rachel's so fun to follow on Twitter, and she writes, "I want to see Survivor Guns N' Roses versus Van Halen." Oh man, that is good. That is good, man. Any stories that you want to tell us about what happened? Any stories that weren't shown that were fun that we'd enjoy hearing?
On the island, there was just a lot of the whole Debbie thing was one of my favorites. Is during the Debbie sabotage, she decided she was going to steal my bathing suit like it was retaliation. Which, well, enjoy watching me walk around my underwear. I guess that's what you guys want to see. Yeah. I still have shorts. The only way that sucks for me is if you take both of them.
Yes.
But so she takes my bathing suit, and earlier that day I made a joke to Scott, just joking, and I was like, "I'll burn this shelter to the ground," and it was just a joke between us, and I didn't think anybody heard us. Debbie steals my bathing suit. I get up, I see my bathing suit's gone. I know exactly who did it, and I walk away, and the producers chase me down, kind of grab onto me, and they're like, hey, you cannot retaliate. You cannot retaliate. I start laughing because I know what they're talking about, and they assume I'm going to burn the shelter to the ground. And I just find it funny. They took my joke as, oh, great, there's going to be a fire.
Oh, wow.
So that crap
would have been feared then.
Yeah, Scott got a kick out of it because he knew it was a joke, and like we didn't know that they were listening, and they lost their mind and really thought I was about to go burn the shelter to the ground.
Wow. Yeah, they might have stopped you there. Hey,
and I really wasn't going to do it.
Yeah. Mike K wants to know, did they give you any idea or any indication of why they didn't do a family visit?
They never discussed it with us.
Wow. So y'all
we waited and waited. Yeah. At a certain point, there was talk about it of like, it's got to be coming up. It's got to be coming up. And then you're getting closer and closer. You're like, okay, are they having it? And then I went home, and I knew instantly at that point of like, I swear if my wife is in this country and I don't get to see her, I'm burning Ponderosa to the ground. Like, it's going to happen. And then Joe came out, and it was asked to Joe right away of, hey, Was there a family visit? And once he said no, there was quick speculation of like, is this a Final Four family visit again? Because they've done that once. But most of the consensus was, wow, we're that season that didn't have one. And we got 3 iconic challenges or rewards that Survivor does. We didn't get any of them, which that sucked. We had no family visit, we had no Survivor auction, and we had no Survivor food challenge where you eat gross things from. So that was a bummer. You know, we really wanted all of them. A lot of us was hoping for it, and none of it ever came. So that sucks. But what can you do? You know.
Did you ever? I mean, it wasn't hard to understand Ty out there on the island, was it? It was easy to understand him, right?
No, it was. No. At times he talked, and you're like, At times I wish we had subtitles out there, because many times we would stop and look at Ty and go, and for the 3rd time, what?
What did you say? Oh man! Wow. All right. Well, they've just like totally bombarded me with questions here. Let's see. David, if you see one, feel free to ask.
I just answered one.
Oh, you answered it on the thing?
Yeah, in the chat.
Oh, here's one. Well, I just lost it. Okay. This is from PB. Jason, if you and others talk to Sid at Ponderosa, someone with extensive knowledge of Aubrey's game, do you think that might open your eyes more to everything she did? So maybe if you had talked to Sydney at Ponderosa.
Why? She voted for Michelle.
That's the one I just answered in the chat room. I said I doubt she could have done it because she voted for Michelle too. So I don't think she wouldn't have swayed toward Aubrey.
Yeah, so if anything, she's going to try and sway us towards Michelle.
Yeah, but what if in the midst of all that she revealed things that later on Aubrey says she did that you didn't know she did, but because you heard it from Sydney too, even though Sydney wasn't vying for her.
Sydney's a smart girl. She's not doing a tie and accidentally releasing information that she doesn't want released.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't see any more. Yeah, Miriam's actually a little annoyed at us, or not at us, but everybody asking all these.
Aubrey hindsight questions. Yeah. I mean, it's over. Yeah. It's voted the way, like he said, he owns his vote back then because that's how he felt. And that's what he saw. And I agree. Yeah. I thought the edit was giving us a Michelle finish because every time Aubrey seemed to be up, she'd get tripped. And something would happen that just didn't work out in her favor. And it just didn't seem that way. Yeah. I wasn't as deflated at the finale. I kind of felt like Michelle, it's not always how you start. It's not always how you play. It's how you finish. You know, and that sometimes can make the biggest impression, and I think it did.
I love Rachel's. I have a lot of questions about Jason's arguable taste in music.
I just read that.
I don't want to come off as judgmental, so I'll shut up.
It's because I post videos. There's a 14-year-old teeny bopper inside of me, and I play a ridiculous amount of pop music in my life to the point where my wife wants to throw herself out of a moving car with me.
Oh man. All right, David, you got anything else?
Nah, if I do, I'll just text him later.
Well, you obviously that wouldn't be good for the show. Well, you obviously want to play again.
About the show. Oh, sorry.
You obviously want to play again.
I would be in discussions with them if they ever call. I'd be more than happy to entertain the idea.
Yeah.
It would a lot would depend on where I am in my life at that time.
Some people were joking with it.
There's a piece of me, like for season 34 of, because obviously I'm not part of that group. That's no spoiler. Like, yeah, there's a part of you that goes, yeah, I wish they would have called me. But I know that, like, right now, I would not be ready for it. I need I need the break of getting off this roller coaster for a second. I have to make sure my company's in line. I got to set myself up to be able to go again, and it would just be not necessarily the right time for my family and I. So I really have to see where we were and have a serious conversation with my wife and my kids about it if they were to ever call. But I would definitely entertain the idea and sit down with my wife and make a family decision together about it.
Yeah. So some people were joking about how we are spoiling season 34 by revealing that you're not on it because you're on our show tonight.
Maybe me and my whole family's in Fiji right now.
Yes.
Maybe the loved one's visit is at 20 people. You don't know this.
Oh, man. What was your best move in the game? That's from Will the Giant Ninja.
My best move in the game would be the move I didn't know I made at the time, and that's winning immunity. It was do or die for me, and I didn't know. I didn't know I was on the block like that. I thought we still had tie, and if I didn't win immunity, I go home. It was my biggest move of the game was a move I never saw coming, and I didn't know I made at that time.
Yeah.
If we're looking at planned moves, it's my infamous idol as a brother. We bluffed them out, and I was able to wing that from the top of my head and just go 1-for-1 with Scott and mess everybody up from sabotage into that into making them go, you know what, we thought about this, we just have to go and do it, and hopefully one of the boys burn an idol or something.
Yeah. I got to tell you, one of the interesting points of the season for me, it was like, if you want to know what can happen on Survivor, watch this episode, because you'll see where a player can be at the very top in total control, everything is going their way, and then boom, they're at the very bottom, no way out, no one's talking to them, and it can happen just like that. And
it
that
happens fast.
Yeah.
It happens really fast. And I knew the minute I hit that, but I knew the minute I went from top of the mountain to all of a sudden I'm smacking my face off the ground. There was no way I saw it coming, but I knew the minute it happened. And from that point on, it was very much just, how do I make cracks and get in them and last longer? And I did a good job of doing that. Many times I saw my way to the end. It would either fall into, I just need somebody to talk to me, or I needed one more day to finish that job that I was creating. It just didn't fall in my realm at that time, but that's what makes this game so great.
Yeah, I love that this season was just so diverse with the different characters and cast, and like you said, you were at the bottom the first couple of weeks because y'all kept losing. Then you were in a solid place near the top when you got your idols and formed your group, and then you were back on the bottom again. Like Dwayne said, it just happened so fast. But that's just the beauty of this game. There's a lot of luck involved, but there's also a lot of strategy too. And you just got to find your places and find your cracks, like you said. And I don't care what anybody says, I love the sabotage. I thought it was great. I thought it was a desperate move, but it got you 3 more days. You just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
What are you prepared to do is the question.
Yeah, pretty much.
Rachel said she's going to start following you on Twitter, and every day she's sending you a link for a Rolling Stones song.
Bring it on, Rachel.
And then I
want my followers.
Yeah, and a couple of them wanted to know if you wanted to go to a Justin Bieber concert with them.
Yeah, let's go. I'll go to the Biebs concert. I'm going to say, just to save my own manhood, that I'm going because of my daughter, but don't judge me when she's not there with me.
And if he gets caught, he'll say he's working a case.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Because they all go to those.
Yeah. Do you, someone on the chat room is asking, do you have a favorite autism charity?
I do. It's a local charity. It's brand new. It's never been done in the United States before or anywhere else in the world for that fact. It's called Autistic Play Place, and you can go to their website, autisticplayplace.com. .org. Autisticplayplace.org. They're about to open up. They're very close. It's a giant facility for kids dealing with autism and their families to help their siblings know that they're not in it alone just because they feel out of place or feel like their sibling gets more attention, it's for a reason, and you're still loved and important too. And it's everything from helping the kids get haircuts to media access centers, different Lego rooms and carousels and movies, places where autistic kids can go to the movies, so they're not the only ones that they can't sit down and watch a movie like you and I can. They got to be up. They got to be moving. They like to yell. They all have their own quirks, so they teach everything. They have all different kinds of therapy there for the children, and they help all autistic kids and their whole families with a support community. It's an amazing charity. It's an amazing organization. They are already being contacted all around the United States to try and replicate this, and it's not even finished opening yet. They're still taking donations. Cherie has even donated to it, gone out of her way to be there for them. So other Survivor contestants have gone out on a limb to help this place out because it's such an amazing place. If you just go check out their website and learn about it and read about it, it's an awesome charity/community that's really rallying behind this cause and helping it out. So that's very close to our heart. My wife donates her time there. My aunt does it a lot. It's a very wonderful place. AutisticPlayplace.org. Check it out. It's worth it. Pass it around. At least let the awareness out about it. It's important.
Cool. All right, we're going to do two more questions. Two more questions from the chat room, and then we'll be done. Brawn wants to know, what scene do you think should have made air that better explains this whole season as a whole? Is there a scene that you wish had made the air?
The real reason Debbie went out instead of the reason that we got.
Yeah, I would say that's probably your best one. Because it's the one. There's always a ton of scenes that don't make it, and you would love to, because it either proves a point or it defends somebody or defends an action. But the Debbie sabotage in response to the Jason Scott sabotage would probably be the one that it would fill in so many bubbles of how things worked out that way that would be the best one for the show. But we know that there are unlimited amounts of air, and they got so much at certain times to put in than other episodes. They're just making things up that just, how do we even fill this? Because nothing happened these 3 days.
Right.
Just think of the comical music they could have played over that while she's moving all that stuff around.
Oh, it'd be so great.
All right, the very last question. It's from Miriam. Where can they buy an Embrace the Suck shirt?
Go to Mike Calloway's website. Sweet Tea's Design Shop.
That's right, Sweet Tea.
Sweet Tea's, I think it's Sweet Tea's Design Shop. Shoppy. You go to his Twitter. He's always got links up there. Mike creates them. Joe England designed them, and Daddy likes it when they get sold.
Well, yeah, of course. All right, David, you got anything else? Not or when you text him?
No,
I just tweeted autisticplayplace.org. So.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Now you're going to get 1 million hits.
I hope so.
Maybe 2.
I'm pretty sure it's 1 million. This has to have over. What are we, like, over 2 million views on this podcast already?
Yeah. At least.
Thank you so
That was when we first started. Then with all the difficulties, we dropped down to 1 million.
Once I logged in, finally, that's when they all left.
No, we don't have that many fans yet, but we are steadily growing.
David lied to me.
Word gets around.
Just adjusted the truth a little bit.
Added a few zeros.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, Jason, man, it's been a blast having you on. You certainly made the season interesting to watch, and certainly gave a lot of people things to talk about. And of course, it also brought out the worst in Twitter and Reddit and everything else. But it was a blast having you on the show, and so glad that you.
This was a great way for us to end this season. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. It's been fun watching and hearing your guys' opinion throughout the whole season, and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed hearing, because of your guys' podcast, what other cast members think or their moms think about me.
Yes.
But
That
it's
was a
been
funny
fun.
one.
I've enjoyed it. I've liked listening in and tuning in. We've even had you playing over the radio during certain bounty hunts because I happen to be out. So it's been fun. And to finish it all off with talking to you guys, it's been a blast. And I thank you for giving me a platform.
Well, that's pretty awesome, man. I'm always humbled and pleased, but very humbled whenever players say that they listen to our show. It's quite humbling. David and I love doing it, so glad that y'all like hearing it. So,
we especially love it when you harass us during the podcast and let us know what we're doing wrong. So that was good too.
Yeah.
No, I never. Oh, yeah, I would text you at times and be like, and I miss the person inside the chat room that always thought I was so good looking.
Yeah.
They might come back. You never know.
Oh wait, that was me. Never mind.
Yeah. So you're not We Love Joe's man bun, are you?
No, I'm not. That's not me.
I think that's Megan in Canada.
I just wanted to make sure. Hey, you can get even more D&D by joining our always family-friendly and spoiler-free Facebook group, stwdd.com/Facebook. I think you're a member of that group, aren't you, Jason? If not, we'll add you.
No, I already am. You guys have brought me in. I chime in every once in a while.
That's what I thought. Follow us on Twitter at Survivor_talk. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to our show, however you listen to us, iTunes, Stitcher, however you listen to us. Subscribe.
Follow me on
subscribe.
Twitter.
Do what?
Yes.
Follow me on
what
Twitter.
is your Twitter account?
At Sarge Jason.
There you go.
SARGJASON. Just saying.
There
But
you
listen
go.
to them too. Follow these guys too. It's important.
Yes, follow us. Yeah, well, man, you are a retweeting machine.
I try.
It's like, I mean, anything I post about Survivor, you retweet.
Because I like you guys. I need you to stick around so I have something to listen to.
David, why don't you retweet as much as Jason retweets?
David, I don't care if you retweet. You got 20 followers. It doesn't matter.
There you go.
Now, Jason, you just need to retweet just one of my EP tweets. So some of your friends.
You put it up tonight, and I'll retweet it tonight.
Boo. You're the man. You're the man. Hey, if you like our show, check out our Patreon page. Become a D&D patron. Doesn't cost that much. $2 a month. You support us. And because of you, we can have guys like Jaden on the show, even though we don't pay him anything. Anyway, shop Amazon using our link. Enjoy your week, everybody. It's been a blast. Thank you for tuning in to our last Kaôh Rōng episode of the season. It's been a good one. Don't you think so?
Great one.
I think it's been great, but I'm biased.
Yeah. So we're going to close out with Miriam saying, does Jason have a man bun tonight? Do you have a man bun tonight, Jason?
Of course I do.
He does.
It's just a
She
sloppy
loves my
man bun.
hair. Yeah, it's a sloppy bun. She loves my hair. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you. Looking good, hun. I don't know who she's talking to. That must have been to David. Since
It's
she
probably
addressed
Jason, I'm sure.
Jason and she wants more. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. It's been great. We'll talk to you later. Don't hang up, Jason. We're just going to say goodbye to everybody. See you, everybody.
See ya.
Say bye, Jason.
Bye, everybody.
There you go.